As the weather cools down, the race for baseball's second season heats up. Today, division rivalries are on display, and postseason hopes are on the line. The NL Central crown might already have a home in Chicago. But the Cardinals still have their sights set on October. And in the heated race for the NL wild card, every game matters.
Oh, what a catch! That is spectacular.
And in Detroit, the defending champion Royals now look to play the role of spoiler as the Tigers continue their fight for a coveted AL wildcard berth.
And the Tigers have a walk-off win.
There's no time to wait as the postseason draws near.
This time, it counts.
And it continues now on Fox.
Oh, they're thinking World Series in Wrigleyville, and why not? The Cubs with 98 wins, the most they've had in a season since 1945, which, yes, that was the last time they went to the World Series. Meantime, in Motown, Tigers back in the wild card picture. They're thinking playoffs in Motown as well. Big day of baseball starting right now. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Fox Saturday Baseball pregame show, sponsored by our good friends at the Lincoln Motor Company. Welcome inside Studio B in Los Angeles. Alongside Eric Karros, CJ Nitkowski, I'm Ryan Field. A big double dip coming your way. Cardinals, Cubs, Royals, Tigers. A big day of baseball about to get underway, EK, and what are you looking forward to?
I'm watching the Cardinals. Look, they're playing to get into the wild card right now, and the game that they played yesterday, not good at all. Very sloppy, not the Cardinals we've been accustomed to over the years. They've got to bounce back today.
On July 1st, Clayton Kershaw went on the DL, and I think we all thought the Dodgers season was going to be over. That is not the case. They have a chance to clinch tonight. If they can do it, if the Giants lose, Clayton Kershaw is on the mound for the Giants. It'd be an incredible story.
Yeah, Dodgers magic number.
For the Dodgers.
Yes, Dodgers magic number down to 2. Giants lose, Dodgers win. They are the NL West division champions. And speaking of the Dodgers, a great scene last night at the Ravine as they honored Vin Scully on Vin Scully night. And they did so with a win over the Rockies, extending their lead over the Giants in the West to 7 games. And yes, that magic number down to 2. Adrian Beltre hit a 2-run homer in the 7th inning. The Rangers secure their second straight AL West title, becoming the first AL team to clinch a playoff spot. They beat the A's 3-0. In Baltimore, Mark Trumbo led off the 12th with his big league leading 44th home run as the O's rallied from a late 2-run deficit to beat the D-backs 3-2. The Orioles remain a half game back in the wild card race to the Tigers, who had Michael Fulmer go 7 strong innings. 3 Tigers went deep as they won their 5th in a row by a score of 8-3. They are a half game up in the wild card. Jake Arrieta, meantime, struck out 10 in 7 innings as the Cubs beat the Cardinals 5-0 for their 98th win. Chicago clinching home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And we know the Cubs are going to be there, at least that's the thinking, when this is all said and done. Outside of Chicago, CJ, who's the biggest threat in the playoffs, do you think?
It probably comes in the World Series, assuming that the Cubs get there, in the Boston Red Sox. You look at what the Red Sox have done. They have been so strong as of late and are finally really hitting their stride. The offense is unbelievably deep. This is such a difficult offense to try to game plan against because you can't identify 1 or 2 hitters that can't beat you. There are multiple hitters in that lineup. And then also David Price really throwing the ball well. The regular season is finishing strong, but I think I finally see him taking it to that level that everybody is waiting for in the postseason. He has yet to win a start. That will change this postseason.
How about a team in the National League that's a threat to the Cubs, EK?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and there's a number of reasons. First of all, they are very versatile. They can play a lot of different players. Dave Roberts has done a great job of keeping everybody fresh. But most importantly, that pitching rotation. It can be Kershaw, Rich Hill, Kenta Maeda, all guys that have great breaking balls. 2 curveballs from the left side in Kershaw and Hill. Nasty. The Cubs, they don't fare well against the off-speed pitches. And what's most important for me, all 3 of these guys, you know how many times they have thrown against the Cubs this year?
How many?
0. That's 0 times. Cubs have not seen these guys at all. You get into the postseason, this is the first time you've seen any of these pitchers all year long. And we're not talking about just run-of-the-mill type guys. Not going to be favorable for the Cubs.
Yeah, we'll see if that is a factor and just how big of one if these 2 teams meet in October. Speaking of the Dodgers, some headlines coming out of that clubhouse, and for that we Head to Wrigley Field and welcome in Ken Rosenthal for the Inside Pitch. And Ken, you wrote about it yesterday. Not all is well in Dodgerland with Dave Roberts and company. What's going on?
Ryan, when you have teams that use a greater number of platoons, as we see today, you're going to have some players who get frustrated from time to time over not playing regularly. Roberts acknowledged to me yesterday that that is indeed the case with the Dodgers, that several players have come to him expressing that frustration. And basically his position is clear. I can't make everyone happy. I'm going to do what is best for the team. Now, the Dodgers in this day and age obviously are not the only club employing multiple players at different positions. The Cubs do it, a lot of teams do it. Difference is, Roberts is a first-year manager, whereas someone like Joe Madden, he's been doing this forever.
Yeah, very interesting times in Los Angeles. Be sure to check out Ken Rosenthal's article on the Dodgers over on foxsports.com. Ken, meantime, Michael Fulmer, he was great for the Tigers last night, going 7 strong innings, a much-needed win for he and Detroit. He looked to be a shoo-in for the AL Rookie of the Year. Now Gary Sanchez coming on strong. Is Fulmer still your leader in the clubhouse here at this point?
He is, and you can't deny, Ryan, that Sanchez has done some amazing things. 19 home runs in 45 games. And Willie McCovey, of course, set the precedent for winning a Rookie of the Year award in a limited number of games way back when, did it much like Sanchez. Fulmer, however, is within 6 1/3 innings in his final start of qualifying for the league leaders and winning the American League ERA title. He's got a 2.95 ERA. Tanaka is next at 3.07. Right now, Fulmer is qualified, but he needs those 6 1/3 to finish the season that way. And let's face it, it's pretty unusual for a rookie to lead his league in ERA. The last rookie to do it was another Tiger, Mark Fidrich. This was way back in 1976. Oh, and guess what? Fidrich was Rookie of the Year.
That he was, and Fulmer's teammate Justin Verlander very outspoken on Twitter yesterday, speaking up for his teammate as to why he should be Rookie of the Year. All right, Ken, thanks. We'll see you later on in the show when you sit down with the Cardinals, Matt Carpenter. That conversation coming up in just a few. So too is this. We go back to Chicago to hear from the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. How would he line up the Cubs rotation in the postseason? We'll get his thoughts on that. And no sport turns out more comedy and outtakes on a regular basis than Major League Baseball. We've got all the proof in the latest edition of Fox Funnies. That's coming up in just a bit. And there is Matt Carpenter. Remember, Ken Rosenthal's going to sit down with him leading up to first pitch between the Cardinals and Cubs here on Fox.
Lease the exhilarating 2017 Lincoln MKZ for $349 a month, only at your Lincoln dealer.
I don't want to live with the uncertainties of Hep C.
Or wonder whether I should seek treatment. I am ready.
Because today, there's Harvoni, a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. Harvoni is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment. It transformed treatment as the first cure that's 1 pill once a day for 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. Harvoni is a simple treatment regimen that's been prescribed to more than 250,000 patients. Tell your doctor if you've had a liver transplant, other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or any other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni may include tiredness, headache, and weakness.
I am ready to put Hep C behind me.
I am ready to be cured.
Are you ready? Ask your Hep C specialist if Harvoni is right for you.
Hey, it's been crazy with school being back, so we are constantly going over our data limit.
Oh, well, now all our new plans come with no data overages.
Wow, no more overages?
So that means...
Go on, say it.
We'll finally be in control.
And we're back.
Introducing new AT&T plans with no data overage charges.
Killing Reagan premieres Sunday, October 16th on the National Geographic Channel.
You talk about the Cowboys and the Patriots like they're like your kids.
That's the hottest a seat in sports media. This is undisputed.
Today's telecast is sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company and the exhilarating new Lincoln MKZ. Jason Hamill at home has been exhilarating and then some. 10-1 with a 1.8 ERA at Wrigley this season. That is the second best home ERA in all of baseball. He gets the start today for the Cubs against the Cardinals. And we now welcome in John Smoltz from the broadcast booth at Wrigley Field. And John, it's an embarrassment of riches, if you will, in terms of the Cubs in their starting rotation. The question is, if you were Joe Madden, how would you shape up your rotation for the Cubs?
Well, there's no wrong answers past the first guy. I'm starting John Lester. He is the hottest starter and certainly on a Cy Young track. But I think the interesting thing is they're going to have time, right? There's no wrong answer. I know Hendricks has been unbelievable, but I'm going to tend to go with experience. Unless there's a really bad matchup, let's just say that all of a sudden a team decided they want to run, and that would be the only Achilles heel for the Cubs. That means Arrieta, they could run like crazy on him, and certainly Lester's improved that. But I'm still going to go with Arrieta second. The reason I'm going to do that is there's something to be said for experience and stuff. I'm a big fan of Hendricks. He's been unreal all year. He relies on off speed, and he relies on control and command. Well, in the postseason, that can be a little bit of a daunting task if you ask him to be even more perfect than he's been all year. So I tend to go with the stuff guy. But again, there's not really a wrong answer. John Lackey coming over makes this staff, I think, the reason they're going to be successful, because now they're 4 deep. And I just don't think that the Cubs in a hiccup early would be as bad as it was last year. They didn't have ways to rebound from it.
Yeah, great sign for the Cubs yesterday, too. Arrieta striking out 10, the first time he had done that since mid-June. All right, John, thanks. We'll see you and Matt Vasgersian on the call at the top of the hour here on Fox. The Cubs, they're already locked into the postseason. These teams still fighting to get in. The updated wild card standings. Mets 1 game up on the Giants, who are a half game up on the Cardinals for that final spot. And EK, as you look at where things stand right now, how do you see this shaking out here over the next week or so?
I think the Mets are a team of destiny. They get into the postseason. They're getting the big hits. They're getting things that have never happened, haven't happened to them now. The Giants, I just cannot see how they don't get in. Not because they're not playing well enough, but look, at best record in baseball at the All-Star break, their pitching, I think, is going to carry them in. Cardinals, I don't think they get in.
I have been waiting for the Giants to get it turned around. I am not a believer in them anymore. I'm going to go with the Cardinals as the second team. I'm with EK on the New York Mets. It does seem like they are going to be there. But looking at the Cardinals, they've had such an up and down year, and part of that has been that this team was so young. But now, as we see a guy like Randall Grichuk right there, swinging the bat much more consistently, very well. Of course, you have your staples and guys like Yadier Molina, but Alex Reyes, who's going today, is legitimately impact. Carlos Martinez is impact. There is enough there in that rotation. The bullpen has been very strong as of late. I'm liking the Cardinals more and more. Hopefully, Matt Holliday will be back here pretty soon. Aledmys Diaz will be back today.
And don't sleep on the Pirates. The Cardinals and Pirates end in a 3-game series at the end of the season. Pirates only 3 out in the wild card.
Still 9 days left in the regular season. A whole lot to be decided between now and then. Hey, how about we look back on the week that was, some of the lighter moments in baseball. The Fox Funnies, the Cardinals, Jose Martinez, and the Rockies, Carlos Estevez. Another anthem standoff. Who's going to win this one, fellas?
Well, I like the guy going with the old-school flip glasses, so I'd like to think about the Colorado Rockies having the best chance at least winning something this year.
Was that sunscreen they were putting on? Is that why they were being out there for so long?
Hey, the Cardinals win. Jose Martinez, your winner in the anthem standoff. Yordano Ventura, this is funny. Drew Butera makes an unexpected mound visit, and Ventura gets a little spooky, looks up, oh, hey, now.
You get locked in the mound, and you're pretty much thinking you're the only one out there, and surprise, surprise, here comes your catcher.
Now, here's something you don't see every day. Barry Bonds dropping kisses on Jose Fernandez after he struck out 12 and 8 scoreless innings. Very easy now.
Hey, keep that private, huh? You're not out in the public there.
No doubt. The Astros mascot Orbit, the old hat trick shuffle on the Rangers' Adrian Beltre. Remember, you can't touch Beltre's head, and you can't mess with him in the hat shuffle either, because there's balls underneath all of them. Sneaky Orbit. And Mets ace Noah Syndergaard, remember, they call him Thor, so it's only natural to read some movie lines for you right
now. I'll be back. Hey, bartender, Joe Boo needs a refill. We're going streaking! Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball. Do you like apples? because I got a number. How do you like them apples? That guy in a little coat. Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Okay, Hollywood, you can just mail my Academy Awards at the clubhouse right here at Citi Field.
The Goodwill Hunting one was strong, I will say that. You know, C.J. Nitkowski and Eric Karros, they called the Diamondbacks Padres game Monday over on FS1, and he called Will Myers' home run, C.J.'s first ever home run call as a play-by-play announcer, and Will Myers gave him an autographed ball to commemorate the occasion. A big moment for you,
that's
CJ.
very cool. Very cool.
That is outstanding.
Yeah,
no signature
and in
fee on
fact,
this?
we have the audio of that home run call. Let's go ahead and play it for you now. Take a listen.
He drives one back near the wall. It's out of here. The impossible has happened. You can't put it on the board. Yes. Hell yes. Wow. Mercy.
You know, we talked about Noah Syndergaard with his impersonations. Your Hawk Harrelson impersonation.
Pretty solid, right? I might as well try to, imitate some of the greats, thinking about Gary Cohen, Hawk Harrelson, and I feel like I nailed it.
Great job on Monday, dude. And Will Myers with the autographed baseball. Nice touch. Be sure to vote for your favorite moment of the week. Simply tweet us at MLB on Fox. Coming up, the AL wildcard looks like it's going down to the wire. Will the Tigers hang on to that second spot, or will someone overtake them? We discuss the AL playoff picture next. Cameron Maben hit a home run yesterday for the Tigers. He's 7 for 16 with 6 runs scored in his last 4 games. And yeah, Detroit's won all 4 of them.
I don't want to live with the uncertainties of Hep C.
Or wonder whether I should seek treatment. I am ready.
Because today, there's Harvoni, a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. Harvoni is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment. It transformed treatment as the first cure that's 1 pill once a day for 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. Harvoni is a simple treatment regimen that's been prescribed to more than 250,000 patients. Tell your doctor if you've had a liver transplant, other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or any other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni may include tiredness, headache, and weakness.
I am ready to put Hep C behind me.
I am ready to be cured.
Are you ready? Ask your Hep C specialist if Harvoni is right for you.
How was your first day back?
Uneventful.
Lethal Weapon, Wednesday before Empire on Fox.
One day, this Saturday, September 24th, all 3 Green stores hosting the Quad City Giant Green Garage Sale. Independent used car buyers and Kelly Blue Book representatives are on site. All competing to get you the most money for your trade. You are guaranteed to get the highest trade amount possible. These reps are experts who know the market and are willing to give you more than you ever thought possible for your vehicle. Choose from over 1,500 vehicles, deeply discounted. Everything is on sale one day only, the 24th, at the Green Family of Dealers Garage Sale, your discount destination. Green, gotta go to Green.
5 nights a week, things are gonna get messy.
Best friend, you are my very best friend. Seriously, it's like the best time
I wasn't finished. And that's just how we like it.
Weeknights at 5:30 and 11:30 on Fox 18.
The MLB postseason begins October 4th with the AL wildcard on TBS and October 5th with the NL wildcard over on ESPN. Then October 7th, the National League Division Series begins over on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
September is the month that separates, winner from losers.
The Rangers are Western Division champions.
Everything is magnified. Every pitch is more important. Every at-bat can be a big at-bat. It just makes for awesome baseball.
That's when the real stars come out to me because it's the pressure time. If you don't perform during that time, you go home.
7 strikeout for Wainwright tonight. No bigger than that one.
Everything is riding on you. No matter what team you happen to be facing, you need to win ball games.
I had a little taste for the first time last year, and I never want to go back to a meaningless September. It's exciting and it's exhilarating, and I don't know, I'm excited right now.
That's all leading up to October. Who will be in? Jays and Tigers, your wild card leaders at this point. The O's just a half game back. Mariners there as well. And CJ, you talk about the Tigers. They've won 5 in a row. A team that's seemingly been written off. Now they're back in. They were written off. Do you see them holding on to that second wild card?
I do. I believe that they will hold on, and a lot of that is going to have to do with the starting pitching. I was concerned about Michael Fulmer. I think like a lot of people were, and wondering if he was going to hit a wall. Would the fatigue start to set in? And we saw it. He answered the call in his last game, and he dealt. Start looking at the rest of the rotation. Anibal Sanchez was pretty good in his last one. Maybe he can contribute. Jordan Zimmerman could be a real X factor getting him back. He's going to throw one more simulated game. He could make one more start. That'll be big. You combine that with this really, really strong offense. Victor Martinez seems to be fine. That's certainly some good news. I like the Tigers more and more. This probably should have happened earlier. They should have started separating themselves a lot earlier in the season. It hasn't happened, but I like their chances of finishing strong.
Yeah, I like Detroit and Toronto as well. I just don't see Baltimore having enough. I think the pitching has finally caught up to them. They rely too much on the home run. And again, when you're talking about this American League East, especially when you've got Boston, Baltimore, and Toronto, and then not to mention the Yankees and Tampa, they're all playing one another. So it's just knock one another off, knock one another off, knock one another off. I think Detroit, easier schedule, Cleveland, and then they finish with Atlanta. Detroit will get in.
Giordano Ventura against Daniel Norris on the hill for the Tigers and Royals at Comerica Park. Many of you will see that game and see Salvador Perez, but some of you will also see the Cubs' Wilson Contreras, his 10 home runs, twice as many as any other rookie catcher in the National League. And there's Salvi Perez. He's got the most home runs among AL catchers with 21. The Royals, they won the World Series last year, in danger of missing the playoffs this season. We're coming right back.
Anyone with type 2 diabetes knows how it feels to see your numbers go up, despite your best efforts. But what if you could turn things around? What if you could love your numbers? Discover once daily Invokana. It's the #1 prescribed SGLT2 inhibitor that works to lower A1C. A pill taken just once in the morning, Invokana is used along with diet and exercise to significantly lower blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes. In fact, it's been proven to be more effective at lowering A1C than Januvia. Invokana works around the clock by reducing the amount of sugar allowed back into the body and sending some sugar out through the process of urination. And while it's not for lowering systolic blood pressure or weight loss, it may help you with both. Invokana can cause important side effects, including dehydration, which may cause you to feel dizzy, faint, lightheaded, or weak upon standing. Other side effects may include kidney problems, genital yeast infections, changes in urination, high potassium, increases in cholesterol, risk of bone fracture, or urinary tract infections, possibly serious. Serious side effects may include ketoacidosis, which can be life-threatening. Stop taking and call your doctor right away if you experience symptoms, or if you experience symptoms of allergic reaction, such as rash, swelling, or difficulty breathing or swallowing. Do not take Invokana if you have severe liver or kidney problems or are on dialysis. Tell your doctor about any medical conditions and medications you take. Using Invokana with the sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. It's time to turn things around. Lower your blood sugar with Invokana. Imagine loving your numbers. There's only one Invokana. Ask your doctor about it by name.
Oklahoma State battles Baylor.
They're not going to catch him.
Tonight at 7 Eastern on Fox.
Yeah, here we go. Zorn. Zorn, defender of Superior. Decapitator.
I know Zorn. It was my last name, too.
I miss this. Son of Zorn. Series premiere tomorrow on Fox.
Hey, this week, start your Sunday off with Fox NFL Kickoff and America's #1 pregame show beginning Sunday at 11 Eastern on Fox. And look for an exclusive interview with the Redskins cornerback Josh Norman ahead of his rematch with Giants receiver Odell Beckham Jr.
I don't think you'll never see a matchup between a wide receiver and DB like that ever again. It was a bloodbath out there, like continue going at each other every play, like clash of the type thing. I wouldn't be sitting right here talking about this game right now if it weren't for Fox. So I'm telling you, all the guys got an exclusive from me for this.
Cardinals and Cubs coming up in just a few. Yadier Molina batting .348 in the second half. As promised, Ken Rosenthal caught up with his teammate, Matt Carpenter.
Thanks, Ryan. Matt, Alex Reyes today, young, throws really hard. What impresses you most about him?
Man, there's a lot of things, but I think the first would be his demeanor out there on the mound. I mean, nothing phases him. I think when you look at some of the young players that come up and have success early, that's kind of a common characteristic, is that they get out there and no stage is too big and they're not overwhelmed in the moment. And that's something he does, and it's been impressive to watch.
All right, you guys have been up and down all year. Everyone knows that. Make the case for me. Why will the Cardinals make the playoffs?
Well, I think we got a team that has the potential to be dangerous once they get into a postseason. And from here on out, we're kind of playing for our own lives. We're kind of in control of our own destiny. If we play well, we're going to get in, and if we don't, then odds are we won't. So that's a good place to be in. You look at the history of the game, the teams that come in the wild card spot and play their way into it, all the scratch and claw the whole way in, seem to fare well in the postseason. So that's what we're hoping for.
Matt, thanks a lot. Ryan, back to you.
All right, thanks, Ken. Cardinals half game out of the wild card spot. Who's your player to watch this afternoon?
Got to keep an eye on Alex Reyes. 22 years old, just turned it, 100-mile-an-hour fastball, only 3 starts, but he has dominated it in all 3 of them.
I'm looking to the Tigers, and I'm looking to their starter, Daniel Norris. Hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in any game. Team has won his last 5 starts. He could be that 3rd starter in the playoffs.
Yeah, Tigers with 3 rookies in their rotation. Brad Osman said if you would have asked me that during the season, midway through, I would have said you were crazy that we'd be competing for a playoff spot. But that is where they are right now ahead of their game with the Royals this afternoon. Justin Upton, he's been on a tear. 9 homers, 22 ribbies this month. Some of you will see the Tigers and Royals, Aaron Goldsmith, Tom Bertucci on the call from Comerica, while most of you will head out to Wrigley Field for the Cardinals and Cubs. You'll see Chris Bryant and company get set for win number 99 on the season. Matt Vasgersian, John Spoke, Ken Rosenthal on the call.
All the wins, all the stolen bases, no hitters, and walk-offs. Doesn't mean anything now, because the only thing that matters is October.
One day this Saturday, September 24th, all 3 Green stores hosting the Glove City Giant Green Garage Sale. Independent used car buyers and Kelly Blue Book representatives are on site, all competing to get you the most money for your trade. You are guaranteed to get the highest trade amount possible. These reps are experts who know the market and are willing to give you more than you ever thought possible for your vehicle. Choose from over 1,500 vehicles, deeply discounted. Everything is on sale one day only, the 24th, at the Green Family of Dealers Garage Sale, your discount destination. Green, gotta go to Green.
Attention patients who've been implanted with an IVC filter. IVC filters are implanted into the inferior vena cava vein to prevent blood clots from traveling into the lungs, causing pulmonary embolisms. Unfortunately, these filters can fracture, move throughout the body, pierce blood vessels and organs, tilt, or become irretrievable. These failures can result in a number of serious injuries, including internal bleeding, organ damage, infection, and even death. If you were implanted with an IVC filter and were injured, you may be owed compensation from the manufacturer. Call the Reliant Group right now to be connected to an experienced attorney for a free consultation. You don't owe us a penny unless we're successful.
Call the Reliant Group right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation for your pain and suffering.
Do not delay. There are time deadlines to file a claim. If you or a loved one has been implanted with an IVC filter and the device failed, call the Reliant Group today at 800-226-8149. That's 800-226-8149.
One day this Saturday, September 24th, all 3 Green stores hosting the Glove City Giant Green Garage Sale. Independent used car buyers and Kelly Blue Book representatives are on site, all competing to get you the most money for your trade. You are guaranteed to get the highest trade amount possible. These reps are experts who know the market and are willing to give you more than you ever thought possible for your vehicle. Choose from over 1,500 vehicles, deeply discounted. Everything is on sale one day only, the 24th, at the Green Family of Dealers Garage Sale, your discount destination. Green, gotta go to Green.
Two Broke Girls has moved.
This is so heavy. What do you have in here? Socks.
Weeknights at 5:30 and 11:30 on Fox 18.
A bit of overcast and haze over Chicago on the first Saturday of fall, but certainly no overcast feelings at Wrigley Field. Optimism riding high into the fall as Fox Saturday Baseball presents two postseason hopefuls, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. A glance at the pregame National League wildcard standings. They find the St. Louis Cardinals, for the moment, temporarily perhaps, on the outside looking in, with New York and San Francisco holding both of the chairs. The Cardinals just a half game off the pace with 1 week remaining in the 2016 season. With that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth with Hall of Famer John Smoltz, Matt Vasgersian, and for the Cardinals, John, for the reasons we just saw, the postseason has already begun, and today they hand the ball to a 22-year-old rookie making just his fourth major league start in big stakes.
Yeah, and he's been incredible. When he came up out of the pen, he was firing bullets at 99 to 100 miles an hour, but now he's almost become a complete pitcher, and he has done some of their best work of recent. He's throwing changeups and broke out his slider. It's a fastball curveball guy, but he has delivered, especially during the day. He hasn't given up a run. And for the Cardinals, who are used to winning the division the last 3 years, their games mean so much moving forward. They're just hoping to get in the postseason, and they're going to have to take care of business today because tomorrow Lester is going for the Cubs.
Yeah, and Reyes and the Cardinals have to deal with the beast of not only the National League Central, but in all of Major League Baseball this year. It's been an incredible run so far for Joe Maddon's Chicago Cubs. We could list the superlatives from an individual basis until we're blue in the face. Some of the big team notes, however, 98 wins, the most in Major League Baseball. And if they win one of their two remaining home games, the Chicago Cubs will set a new franchise record for home victories. Oh, and there's the 244-plus run differential, the best this franchise has seen in over 100 years.
Yeah, and you know, if you think about it, this is the first time for Joe Maddon to be in this arena, meaning he has it clinched. Now his strategy is about trying to figure out how does he keep his guys rested, but at the same time ready to go. And I think for the Chicago Cubs, this is going to be a relaxing 9 days. And then when they get ready for the postseason, they're going to have every weapon that they could possibly want ready to go. And that's why they're the team favored to go to the World Series.
Joe Maddon telling us he still wants his guys to compete down the stretch, which they certainly have done, winning the opener in this series yesterday. Well, the I-55 series, the 2016 running of it, is down to its final couple of games, but there are bigger things at stake than just regional bragging rights. Cardinals and Cubs are coming up next.
In our quest to reach our greatest heights, we require focus, resolve, and the ability to grip the moment. For it is in these moments that we define ourselves by our determination to never let go. Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball.
A car should only be measured by one thing. How it makes you feel. The all-new Infiniti Q60. Infiniti, empower the drive.
Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, boss.
We need to ship an extra zero to Easton Accounting in Kansas City. You got it.
I need those spreadsheets.
Okay, I'm just making popcorn.
When the unexpected strikes, will you be ready? Join the over 1 million small businesses who trust the Hartford to help them stay in business.
DS Virgin Racing entered Formula E because we thought it was the best way to accelerate the development of electric vehicle technology. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise is the perfect teammate because they have the data analytics platform to help us win today, and IT solutions that help create a more sustainable world by using up to 65% less energy than comparable servers. So everybody wins tomorrow.
Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. Accelerating next.
better.
Sensational.
The world has got to take notice.
Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today.
Unbelievable.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field with John Smoltz and Ken Rosenthal. Matt Vasgersian back on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon for baseball, heading into the fall, the first Saturday of the fall season, and another big crowd expected for a great baseball rivalry, and one that, as we indicated, has more at stake than just regional bragging rights. Let's get right to Mike Matheny's Cardinals batting lineup, brought to you by Pepsi. Matt Carpenter leads things off. Stephen Piscotty, Brandon Moss, and Johnny Peralta 2 through 4. That group has been cold. They'd like to finish strong starting today. Matt Adams bats number 5 at first base. The 7-time All-Star Yadi Molina in the 6th spot. Randall Grichuk, Aledmus Diaz, and today's starter Alex Reyes round things out for the Cardinals. On the mound for the Cubs, making his 30th starting assignment of the year, the veteran right-hander Jason Hamill, coming off a winner his last time around here against the Reds, and he is underway with strike 1.
Yeah, throwing strikes is going to be the key, especially getting ahead, which is what Hamels likes to do. Relies on that slider and two-seam fastball.
And quickly in front of Matt Carpenter, 0-2.
Well, he was trying to shake the second half blues and did a nice job after the All-Star break. 6-0, under 1 ERA. The last 6 not so good. He's hit a few bumps in the road lately.
It's almost as though you could cut the season into thirds for Jason Hamill, as he finally misses to Carpenter. A ball and 2 strikes starts his afternoon. A good start, as we mentioned last time around Monday against the Reds. 7 innings, allowed just 2 earned runs, struck out 6. And he starts his day today with a strikeout of Matt Carpenter.
You see that pitch, maybe Carpenter thought it was low, but the key for me and the key for the Cubs is home sweet Hamill. Boy, does he love teeing it up at home. 10-1, 1.84 ERA, as most of these Cubs starters love pitching in this home ballpark.
Today's keys brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company. And yeah, the home numbers for Hamill are hard to ignore as he goes to work on Stephen Piscotty with 1 away. And they're even better as we end the regular season. He's 7-0 here in his last 7 home starts with an ERA under 1. And it's hard to imagine a guy with that kind of home success possibly being left out of a postseason rotation. That's how rich the Cubs are in their starting 5.
Yeah, he may not even make the roster, like you said.
Stephen Piscotty with a drive into the opposite field. That ball well hit. Hayward circling under it, just shy of the ivy for out number 2. Looked like the wind got a hold of that and knocked it down and made it a rather routine play.
It's been kind of a consistent theme all year. The wind has been blowing in, which you know is going to help the starting pitching. The offense is going to suffer, but the balance of the Cubs have been so good. So each pitcher has benefited from a consistency of predominant winds blowing in for most of the year.
2 out, bases empty now for the St. Louis left fielder Brandon Moss. Moss has struggled down the stretch. It's tough to color it any other way. 5 for his last 70 over his last 21 games. That's a batting average of 71 cents. Yet he represents the kind of power threat that you might not necessarily see coming. And Mike Matheny told us before the game, we've got to ride through a stretch like this for what Brandon Moss brings when he gets hot, and that can seemingly come at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, it's not your typical Cardinals lineup of the years past. At feast or famine, they've hit a lot of home runs. They lead in home runs, but since the second half has been a little bit on a downward trend offensively for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it is very much a atypical Cardinal story this year. They don't run. They don't field particularly well, and those things had been hallmarks of previous postseason St. Louis clubs. And they hit a bunch of home runs. And there's ball 4 to Moss. So a 2-out base runner here in the Cardinal half of the first, and an opportunity for the 3-time All-Star third baseman Johnny Peralta.
The Cubs have done a nice job against Johnny Peralta. You see him batting in the 4 spot with Adams and Molina behind him.
Peralta is one of a handful of Cardinals, and it's really kind of a lineup theme today to have had considerable previous success against Jason Hamill. And I guess if we're to restate the big picture, John, I mean, these are must-win games for St. Louis at this point of the year. Two teams in very different places on this Saturday.
Well, no doubt, and they get a chance to go home and finish the season. No matter what happens in this series, they'll be mathematically alive for the postseason, but you know that each win they could get in this series would go a long way. As we mentioned, Lester, who has been on fire for the Cubs, pitching tomorrow. So you would sense a kind of an urgency for the Cardinals to try and at least take this game to salvage the series if they're going to have a chance going into tomorrow night's game.
Mets playing later on tonight, hosting the Phillies. The Giants are in San Diego again with Madison Bumgarner on the mound.
It's amazing how the psychology of a team and season goes based on who's on the mound or based on what you have confidence in. And their young pitcher Reyes, yet to take the mound, of course, has been providing some huge innings lately. But you find yourself playing that matchup game, even if you're a player. You're like, okay, we got this matchup today. Tomorrow you start looking ahead, you start mapping out what the season's going to be, and before you know it, you're in more desperation games than you want to be in because you haven't taken care of business.
Well, we say it so often during these telecasts, you know, too early to scoreboard watch. That is not the case any longer. I mean, the Cardinals have been in scoreboard watch mode here for the last couple of weeks. And again, down to the last week's worth of schedule, a half game out of that second and final wild card spot in the National League. And it's still a 2-2 count, rather 2-2 count to Johnny Peralta. The Giants have had all they can handle in San Diego this year. The Mets have somehow been able to stay wild card relevant in the midst of what we would have thought to be devastating pitching injuries. And if you're a betting man, this race has a pretty good chance of going down to the final weekend, if not final day of the season, a week from tomorrow. We mentioned the Mets and Giants later on tonight, and each of those teams stays within its respective division, as do the Cardinals, for the final week of the season. If you've been paying attention, there's all kinds of hairy math involved in a three-way tie. We'll kind of play those scenarios out for you here on the telecast a little bit later on today. And Hamill just misses the outside corner. It's a full count, 3-2.
Well, that's a signature of Hamill. His fastball down plays really well. He needs to keep the ball down, and then he complements it with a curveball slider combination.
Moss will have a head start with 2 out on a 3-2 pitch on its way to Johnny Peralta. There goes Moss in the 3-2 home. Little excuse me swing and a base hit into right field.
That's always further evidence of when a guy checks his swing and said the umpire says no and the dugout yells he could have got a double on it. There's a great example of sometimes just making an excuse me swing. The infield playing more for Johnny to pull, of course. Pitchers don't like that at all, I can tell you.
So Moss at third, Peralta at first. Little 2-out rally here, and it's going to bring up Matt Adams, the power hitting first baseman. That one gets away from Contreras. Moss thought about trying to score, then thinks better of it. Advancing on the back end of the wild pitch is Peralta. Runners at second and third.
Well, as the runner at third, Moss doesn't have blazing speed, but if you don't pick this up right away, there's a short backdrop and it's brick. So here's the breaking ball, spikes it, and he doesn't pick it up right away, but see how the ball bounces back? Now here's what Moss is reading. Not sure, and you can't hesitate that many times. And of course, it's a do or die play sometimes for the catcher to pick it up off the wall. You can see his foot slips right here, and he doesn't come up with the ball at first because he thinks the runner's going.
The crew is going to take another look here because at issue is whether or not this ball hit Matt Adams.
Does hit him in the back knee.
It sure looked like the ball changed direction after hitting the dirt and then came up, and you can see the uniform kind of bristle there too. It looks pretty clear.
Well, for the Cardinals, if that is the case, Yadier Molina has been pretty hot of late, so he would come up with the bases loaded. His last 30 games hitting at a .333 clip. And pretty good with runners in scoring position. Cardinals have had a strange year because it's not prototypically what you would think about on the formula to get them to this point. It's really been power-driven offensive. Their starting staff has had some injuries but hasn't delivered as they did last year, where they were lights out in their route to 100 wins.
Yeah, they're going to say that ball hit Matt Adams, and that's going to load the bases. You know, there was a similar play yesterday, at least one that thought to be reviewed. Mike Leake yesterday was hit by this pitch. It was called a swinging strike because Leake offered at it. He ended up fouling it away. Thus, it was not reviewable, even though the Cardinals thought that that was worthy of another look. And as you can see, it did look like that ball hit Mike Leake, but it was called a swinging strike, a foul tip on a swinging strike, thus not a reviewable play. Bases are loaded here, and Yadier Molina takes a swing at the first pitch.
Yeah, Yadi also likes going after the first pitch. He leads the team in first pitch hits with 40. So he definitely picks his spots where he's getting really aggressive, and he was committed there. Good pitch selection by Hamels to throw a slider.
Molina, one of the Cardinals who has been swinging the bat well down the stretch. He's hit in 9 in a row, and he's driven in a run here. At least one. Moss scores. Here's Peralta right behind him. Adams to third, and it's 2-0 St. Louis.
Well, they want to go inside, and Yadi does a pretty good job of pulling his hands in. You see the pitch, and you see where Bryant didn't have a chance to react because the ball was hit by him. Good piece of hitting by Yadier Molina, and as we mentioned, on a roll offensively, and that's what the Cardinals needed. They needed some kind of feel-good early. Yesterday's game just felt blah from the day Jake Arrieta stepped on the mound and didn't give up any runs.
Here's Randall Grichuk now. Grichuk's hit safely in 18 of his last 21, and like Molina before him, has been great in the month of September. Adams and Molina aboard, a 2-0 Cardinal lead early. Well, Jason Hamill got through the first 2 hitters on 7 pitches, but is having trouble here to close out the first. Adams scores on the base hit. Here's Molina to cross the plate, and it's 4-0 St. Louis.
Well, once again, you see the ball just a little bit too much of the plate. You saw the spin, the slider spin. Grichuk did a nice job, not trying to do too much. Right now, you got to feel pretty good if you're Alex Reyes getting a 4 spot to start this game out on.
Here's Aledmys Diaz now. You got to feel pretty good if you're Mike Matheny too, right? You challenge that ball in the dirt that came up and hit Matt Adams, and then a pair of 2-run hits follow. The double by Molina, the single by Grichuk. We can go back even farther than that to this little 2-out 3-2 pitch, the excuse me base hit by Johnny Peralta that kept the inning alive.
Yeah, that's the craziness about pitching. Not every really good pitch produces an out. Not every bad pitch produces a hit.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Aledmys Diaz, the 8th Cardinal to bat in this opening inning. I mean, forget about looking up at the standings, which tell you all you need to know about the urgency for St. Louis this afternoon. It has not been a particularly great week for the Cardinals. They lose 11-1 in Denver on Wednesday, shut out yesterday to start this series. They have responded to start this one in a big way. On the appeal, they say that Diaz swung the bat not before 4 runs can cross the plate in the top of the first. A pair of 2-out 2-run hits by Molina and Grichuk doing the damage. It's 4-0 Cardinals.
These are hands. They're not necessary to open the sliding doors on the all-new Chrysler Pacifica. You know, traverse also means wander, like your equipment is wandering down the driveway.
Current owners or lessees of FCA or competitive vehicles finance and get $2,000 total cash allowance on the all-new Chrysler Pacifica.
It's our buy one, get one free sale on almost everything in the store. Now all Traveler and 1905 suits are just $249, and all dress shirts are 2 for $89. Plus all shoes are buy one, get one 50% off. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
My name's Paul. I live in New York. By the time I was in my mid-20s, I had a lot of gray hair. I'm not going to spend hours on my hair. I tried Just for Men. Totally easy. Every 5 weeks or so. 5 minutes, it's done. My wife's blown away. She's like, you look 10 years younger.
Great-looking hair made easy. Just for Men.
I am Sebastian Autwa, brewmaster, risk taker. I sold everything I had to own a brewery. You might have heard its name. Stella Autwa, the legacy.
Well, the bottom of the order cashing in for the Cardinals in a pair of a couple of 2-run knocks. Yadi Molina and Randall Grichuk delivering a 4-0 lead. And here's how the Cubs will try to chip away. Taking a look at Joe Maddon's Cubs Pepsi starting lineup. Dexter Fowler leads it off. And then between Bryant, Rizzo, Zobrist, and Russell, all All-Stars in 2016 and all big contributors all year long. Jason Hayward's in right field batting 6th. Jorge Soler gets the nod in left. Wilson Contreras is hit in 4 in a row. He catches today. Jason Hamill in the 9th spot. This group of Cubs facing the rookie right-hander Alex Reyes, making just his 4th starting assignment of the year. He was particularly impressive in his last outing against the Giants. Went 7 innings, allowed 4 hits, 7 shutout innings, that is. Struck out 6 and walked only 2. Ball and no strikes to Dexter Fowler, make it 1-1. And we're going to see perhaps a different Alex Reyes today, John, than the one that debuted with the Cardinals a little over a month ago as a reliever.
Yeah, really impressed with the short-term turnaround of a complete pitcher.
Dexter Fowler's aboard.
What I mean by that is fastball came in out of the pen at 98, 99, and even 100 miles an hour, and he was rearing back and just letting it go. He did that a lot in the minor leagues. He was getting into trouble by the 6th inning with the pitch count. So far, he has been able to mix in a fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup. And I believe that the changeup will be a weapon for today's game if he's going to be successful against the Cubs.
Here's Chris Bryant now with the leadoff hitter aboard. Bryant starts play hot. He's hit in 3 in a row and 28 of his last 32 for a bigger stretch. Doing nothing to diminish his MVP candidacy this year. Another big week at Cincinnati's expense. He's become public enemy #1 in that city. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Chris Bryant.
Well, a lot of guys down the stretch who have been fantastic all year. It's almost hard to keep up that pace. He struggled a little bit in September. And you got to understand that a lot of these Cubs, even though they still want to perform and be great, there's a little less of an emergency type attitude to play in these games when you know you're looking forward to the postseason. You're trying to finish strong as you can, but the intensity is not quite the same when you've had this big a lead. So managers all throughout baseball and all throughout history are trying to figure out how to handle it best moving forward when you have such a huge lead.
2 balls and no strikes, the count to Chris Bryant. Yeah, Joe Madden visiting with us before the game, while not tipping us off to any specific methodology, hinted that Cubs games may look a little bit different next week. He wants his bullpen work to be scripted, so that means Aroldis Chapman might pitch next week in a non-save situation. He might not even pitch in the 9th inning necessarily. But to your point, John, Joe wants to get everybody kind of in that balance of competing and getting work in while not risking injury or overtaxing anybody. That's a very delicate line to walk.
Yeah, it's going to be more like spring training games in his words.
A strike to Bryant. It's 3-1.
Reyes has fairly simple mechanics with a live arm, and his front shoulder is the only thing that gets him a little bit off the command issue. That front shoulder has to stay away from pulling towards his first baseman, going straight and quiet with that front shoulder. And why I'm so impressed in a guy that come out of the pen in the minor leagues, that's the danger of our sport. We bring guys up so quick because they got great arms. They're a little underdeveloped as far as a pitcher goes, but he's been able to adopt and adapt really quickly in these last 2 starts by not just rearing back and throwing. He's using his off-speed pitches quite well.
Bryant giving him all he can handle, still a 3-2 count.
So that front shoulder, see how it stays a little closed, but when it starts pulling, that glove arm starts pulling him away from home plate, that's where he gets offline and can get into some command issues, especially with that fastball. But it works on every pitch. You need that front shoulder to be so quiet.
And there's ball 4 to Bryant. Control trouble has been an issue for Alex Reyes in the past, though last start you'd never know about it. 2 starts ago, however, against these Cubs, there were some control difficulties, but I think the pitcher-catcher relationship has really blossomed since then. Ken Rosenthal has a little bit more on that.
Well, Matt, Yadier Molina certainly has an effect on every pitcher he catches, but in the minor leagues, the rap on Reyes was, hey, he's not pitch efficient. Well, working with Yadi, suddenly he's got better command.
Here's Anthony Rizzo now with runners at first and second, and Rizzo takes a strike.
Yeah, and it's easier said than done. It's trusting that off-speed pitches in counts at 2-0 and 3-1 that takes sometimes a year or 2 for a young pitcher to feel comfortable because he's so used to overpowering people in the minor leagues. And his ability to do that against the Giants and, as you mentioned, against the Cubs with a lot of stress. Stress meaning your club needs you. He hadn't given up any runs against those two clubs in pivotal situations. So not the start you want, though, when you're given 4-run lead in the first inning.
Yeah. 0-2 the count to Anthony Rizzo. Ben Zobrist waiting on deck. Reyes still looking for his first out here in the bottom of the first. Anthony Rizzo, as he has done the last couple of years, shortening up with 2 strikes. You can see him choke up pretty significantly there, especially when you consider the fact that he's a power hitter and a run producer. It's a ball and 2 strikes to him now.
Well, he, much like more of his teammates, have made a 1-year adjustment in that area. Strikeouts. They horrible last year as far as strikeouts.
Reyes gets him to swing and miss. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, that's the changeup right there that he went to, and working off of a 94, 95 mile an hour fastball, being able to change speeds with the same arm action will give hitters fits. You see, there's no wasted motion. He goes straight towards home plate. The hitter reads a fastball spin. If the change of velocity just gets him out in front.
So now Ben Zobrist, the switch hitting 3-time All-Star at 267 to start play today. Middle of the Cubs order with a chance to get some of that early damage back quickly.
The Cubs, much like, I don't know, the closest team I would think would be the Red Sox in the American League. Of course, the Red Sox have the longest lineup, most ridiculous lineup in the American League and in all of baseball.
Into the right field corner. And some of that damage will come back immediately. Fowler scores easily. Here's Bryant without a play. Zobrist at third. And about 10 minutes after the Cardinals take a 4-0 lead, it's cut in half.
Yeah, these hurt right here. See the fastball over the middle of the plate. Zobrist can handle the bat on both sides of the plate. And he's another reason why this lineup got better by adding him. Bryant can pick him up and put him down. Very athletic, as is most of this lineup. The Chicago Cubs can beat you with their legs, defense, power, pitching, you name it, they can do it.
And that brings up one of Chicago's best run producers since about the midway point of the season, the All-Star shortstop Addison Russell.
Yeah, you already saw the velocity go up right there. 97 miles an hour on a fastball above the hands.
Russell would love to pick this as the spot to break out of a little mini slide. 0 for his last 8 at the plate. Chance for him with a runner at third and 1 gone. Of course, to be a run producer, you have to have the opportunity. And Russell, since being moved into the 5 spot in a very productive lineup, has had plenty of opportunities to cash in, and he's taken advantage.
I think this is still going to be one of the greatest discussions moving forward. I get it, in 162 games. I know why Bryant's batting second. But in the postseason, this part of their lineup is going to be tested mightily. And if they have the current lineup, let's just say, with Russell and Hayward struggling as much as he has, Soler can strike out like he can, and the young Contreras, that's the interesting challenge. When you think about a lineup that's long, Bryant 3, Rizzo 4, Zobrist in the second spot, maybe. That's a little bit more intriguing postseason. I doubt that's what Joe Maddon's going to do and change it when he gets to the postseason.
And a wave and a miss by Russell. 2 gone for Reyes.
But I'm telling you, you're going to have pitchers going through. If they have any trouble at all with the front part of that lineup, they're going to say, the heck with it. I'm going to make these guys beat me. I'm going to make Jason Hayward try to get a big hit. I'm going to go after the young, aggressive hitters who expand the zone. As a whole, the Cubs do a nice job in cutting down their strikeouts. But it's this part of the lineup that I'm going to be very intrigued to see what Joe Madden does come postseason time.
Well, you could understand that from the standpoint of an opposing manager. If, in fact, you're going to isolate one hitter or one part of the lineup that you're just not going to let get to you. Hayward's problems have been well documented. There's a pop for the left side of the infield. But 2 of those runs do come back immediately. Ben Zobrist with a 2-run triple. And at the end of just an inning, it's a 4-2 Cardinal lead.
For $349 a month, only at your Lincoln dealer.
It's here. The amazing new iPhone everyone's excited about. And T-Mobile is the best place to get it. Your iPhone deserves a network built for unlimited data for everyone. So you can use your new iPhone 7 to stream, watch, and play as much as you want. All on America's fastest 4G LTE network. Now, when you go unlimited with T-Mobile One, you get iPhone 7 on us. Only at T-Mobile.
I don't want to live with the uncertainties of Hep C.
Or wonder whether I should seek treatment. I am ready.
Because today, there's Harvoni, a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. Harvoni is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment. It transformed treatment as the first cure that's 1 pill once a day for 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. Harvoni is a simple treatment regimen that's been prescribed to more than 250,000 patients. Tell your doctor if you've had a liver transplant, other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or any other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni may include tiredness, headache, and weakness. I am ready to put Hep C behind me.
I am ready to be cured.
Are you ready? Ask your Hep C specialist if Harvoni is right for you.
Today's telecast is sponsored by T-Mobile, bringing you greater coverage of today's game. Back with John Smoltz and Ken Rosenthal, Matt Vasgersian, and a 4-2 St. Louis lead. Jason Hamill will try to get the wheels back on here in the second. He'll go to work on the number 9 hitter, Alex Reyes, and then the top of the order, Carpenter and Piscotty in the Cardinals' second. You know, for what it's worth, and you start thinking this way when you envision potential division series matchups, the Cardinals haven't really buckled under the enormous weight of the Cubs at home. St. Louis is a rather respectable 5-3 here. I mean, more than respectable, downright good. They swept the series here earlier this season. And when you consider the rest of the NL Central is 5-22 here at Wrigley Field, it really speaks to what the Cardinals have accomplished head-to-head on the road against the Cubs.
Yeah, it's really not fair what the Cubs are going to be dealing with in general. Haven't won a World Series in forever. A team that everyone expected would be this good before the season started.
Reyes with a little slicing flare to Zobrist, and there's one away.
They're going to have so much pressure on them no matter who they play in that first round, that best of 5. I almost feel like they get through the best of 5 and then they truly can flex their muscles in the rest of the series. That best of 5 and played here the first 2 games. The Cardinals just don't, they've just been through too much. They still have a core of players that have won 3 divisions in a row and trying to get back to the postseason, almost in an ironic way. Trying to do with the Cubs this year what the Cubs did to the Cardinals last year, right? The Cardinals won 100 games.
Yep.
Cubs got in the wild card.
Yep.
Rode that streak. So you almost think if the Cards could find a way to get in and win that one-game playoff, go, hey, we got every single aspect that we can beat this ball club. The Cubs have significantly improved since last year, though.
Carpenter with a drive out to center field. Fowler gliding a couple of steps to his right for route number 2.
Here's why I think the Cubs become so much better than last year. They've improved in really some key areas. The average has gone better with the addition of some players. Their on-base percentage obviously first, but it's that strikeouts. They were dead last year, and now they've made significant improvements in the length of their lineup and the ability for their lineup to be more stingy. There were just too many places you could go last year, and the single most, I got to give this guy credit. Baez was a historic strikeout rate machine last year. And not only is he one of their most valuable commodities, he has adjusted well. Now, will the pressure of the postseason get him back towards his norm, or will the consistency of the work that he's done make him that much more of a threat with the opportunity to play multiple positions and not swing and expand the zone?
Stephen Piscotty with a drive to left. Soler doesn't even bother moving. That one is gone out of the ballpark. Stephen Piscotty had been 5 for his last 37, but a tape measure home run has put the Cardinals on top by 3.
Another hanging. That's the recipe. Slider that does not break away and stays in the middle of the plate. Hitters love that. Somebody with a good arm, by the way, out there in Waveland Avenue throwing a ball close to shortstop.
Did that come back from the street?
From the street.
Somebody get out there with a contract and sign the kid that threw it over the stands and back into the field. Meanwhile, Stephen Piscotty has a contract. He also has got his 22nd home run of the year and a 5-2 St. Louis lead.
Hey, it's been crazy with school being back, so we are constantly going over our data limit.
Oh, well, now all our new plans come with no data overages.
Wow, no more overages?
So that means...
Go on, say it.
We'll finally be in control.
And we're back.
Introducing new AT&T plans with no data overage charges.
My name's Paul. I live in New York. By the time I was in my mid-20s, I had a lot of gray hair. I'm not going to spend hours on my hair. I tried Just for Men. Totally easy. Every 5 weeks or so. 5 minutes, it's done. My wife's blown away. She's like, you look 10 years younger.
Great looking hair made easy. Just for Men.
When you've got nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Here's Pepto-Bismol.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
There's no one road out there. No one surface. No one speed. No one way of driving on each and every road. But there is one car that can conquer them all. The Mercedes-Benz C-Class. 5 driving modes let you customize the steering, shift points, and suspension to fit the mood you're in and the road you're on. The 2016 C-Class. Lease the C300 for $369 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
I'm a big fan of my Bank of America mobile banking app. I can manage my accounts, deposit checks, get alerts, pay my bills, and more. I'm a big fan of this team, too. In fact, I tried out to be the mascot. Apparently, I'm overqualified. I do not have an overbite.
Join us for all the unforgettable games, undeniable greatness, and unstoppable drama of the 2016 postseason. It all begins on October 4th. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule. Well, the Cardinals have scored 5 runs early against Jason Hamill today. All 5 of those runs have been scored with 2 out in the inning. It's been kind of a season-long theme for the St. Louis lineup. So Jorge Soler will start the chip away process again. Soler, Contreras, and Hamill. Bottom of the order here in the bottom of the second. Oh, 0-2 quickly from Alex Reyes.
Well, it's funny. We were talking, and I asked Mike Matheny, what would you like to do or trade offensively? In other words, what statistic or what area would you like to trade for some, maybe your power, the all or nothing type approach? He said, more homers. We need to hit more homers. That's how we're built.
Imagine a world where a Cardinal manager is saying, you know, hey, we don't need to slap it around anymore. We're not going to run. We're not going to manufacture. We're just going to sit back on our heels and hit 3-run bombs.
Oh. I was right with you, Molina.
Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah.
You know, this young kid's going to be a great starter, I think, just the dynamics of what he has. And I think it's unfair to put on him how and what to do when you're given 4 runs in the first. What to do when your team scores right away. But you learn as a pitcher, you go out there and that first hitter's so important, right? When the team scores, you got to get him out. That was the thing that was impressed upon us so much. Get that first hitter out. Don't allow the team to get right back in it. Don't give them that sense of we got a chance.
And there's ball 4 to Soler. Well, how about the fact that they've put him into this situation as almost in a potential savior role.
Yeah.
But here's a guy whose talent has not been a secret to anybody in the organization. Sure, there was some issues to work through mechanically in regards to walks, but a guy who made his major league debut in August, put into the starting rotation in September in a pennant race, with his team desperately trying to grab one of 2 wild card spots. Here's Wilson Contreras now with the leadoff hitter aboard.
And again, you know, I'm not running a club. No one's asked me to run a club, and certainly it's my opinion that how we go about developing some of these young pitchers with these inning limits and potentially helping a ball club late with these restrictions put upon them. And I sure would like to see, if you know this kid's got a chance to be part of your club that year, why not start him later? Why not keep him in his routine? But what happens is you get him in the minors. They're on a innings limit there. You call him up, throw him in the pen. Dynamic arm, as we talked about. He misses about, I don't know, potentially 3-4 starts. Then they put him back in the rotation and asking him to do exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Not easy at all for a young kid like him.
A ball and a strike to count to the Cubs catcher. You know, I want to bring everybody's attention back to that little biographical note that we saw on the screen a moment ago. The fact that Alex was born and raised in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And he went to high school there for the first couple of years, pitched, played third, played shortstop, and then after his junior year, he moved to the Dominican Republic and lived with his grandmother to establish residency there in order to circumvent the draft procedure. He was able to sign as an international free agent, thus keeping his price high and not subjecting himself to any slot money or any draft process. And there was a little bidding war for his services in December of 2012. The Astros were engaged. So were the Kansas City Royals. The Cardinals that had the top bid, one that would not have existed had Reyes not left the country. And a big wave and a miss by Wilson Contreras for Reyes' 3rd strikeout of the day. Now, what he did was legal. It was perfectly within the rules. There's nothing preventing a player from leaving, establishing residency someplace else. He moved in with his grandmother, after all. It's not like he went and stayed at a hotel for 2 years. But it does bring up the point that the system itself could perhaps use that as the best example in needing to be tweaked. Here's Jason Hamill now. He gets one past Peralta into the left field corner. Soler to third. Ken Rosenthal, I'm curious your thoughts, the international signing process, and would the Alex Reyes case actually help change those policies?
Matt, there are any number of cases that would lead you to think the policy should be changed. The collective bargaining agreement expires December 1st. Two sides are in negotiation right now, the owners and the players side of the union. Whether they implement an international draft remains to be seen. I would say it's a long shot. Whether they change the rules on international signings, that remains to be seen too. It's a little bit different now. There's a limit, a cap of sorts on international signings. You have to pay a penalty if you exceed a certain amount. But clearly this example shows the system is flawed.
You bet. And until it's changed procedurally, you can only expect more and more players to at least inquire about doing the same thing. You're trying to maximize your abilities as a young kid, maximize your talents, that is, from a financial standpoint. Well, pitch to Dexter Fowler, misses. It's 1-1.
Also by accident, or not by plan, he did start his season late because he was suspended 50 games in November last year. Minor leagues test for different things, and he got suspended 50 days. Now in the heat of a much needed wins coming down the stretch for the Cardinals, he will be given one more start, more than likely.
Well, you knew that when he pitched at the Futures game in San Diego in July, you knew it was close.
Yeah.
I mean, he was electric. He popped off the page, struck out 4 of the 5 outs that he recorded. And most of us that were in the ballpark that day thought, I mean, the phone could ring tomorrow and he could be in big league St. Louis. He looked like a finished product that day. I know it's a short sample size when you watch a kid for 2 innings. The secondary pitches don't come under focus as much, but talking to Mike Matheny today, the slider's a lot better than advertised. It's probably better than where Reyes thought it was himself. His changeup has made great leaps and bounds, as you talked about, John. Well, they're very excited for his future.
As they should be, because he's got everything you could possibly want. But the problem is that how fast.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The count to Dexter Fowler. Runners at the corners with 1 gone. Into the right field corner. It's back to a 2-run game as Soler scores. They'll hold Hamill at third, and here come the Cubs again. Just appears it's going to be one of those days, John.
Yeah, and again, this one led off with a walk. The first inning led off with a hit. Start putting that undue stress. Derek Lilliquist is going to go out there and try to talk into him, but Hamill's on the base pass. The pitchers for the Cubs can handle the bats, by the way.
Little meeting on the mound, and a quick reminder that today's telecast is sponsored by Bank of America. Well, it is September. Rosters are deep. Bullpens are very deep. And Mike Matheny told us about his decision to get Mike Leake out of there yesterday rather early. Look, we have too many guys that can help us on the occasion somebody's struggling. Kind of confirming that these games are being managed with postseason urgency. Here's Chris Bryant now, 2nd and 3rd with a run in.
Great breaking ball. Good first pitch. Lilliquist, of course, trying to settle his youngster down, and Bryant can handle just about anybody's fastball. Changeups, especially from right-handers, have given Bryant and his swing path a little bit of more problems than you would think.
And Bryant sends a fly ball out to shallow left. Diaz calling for it, and he's under it to make the catch. There are 2 away.
A great pitch and a good location against one of the MVP candidates of the year. And up and in. He can't get his hands in the barrel to it. Bryant has tried to keep his swing path and barrel the bat through and longer throughout the plate, creating more coverage and obviously more lift. That's why that changeup would give him problems with that pitch right there. A fastball in up off his hands.
So with 2 out, it's Bryant's co-MVP candidate, Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo, as we mentioned earlier, has hit safely in 7 in a row in the midst of a 10-for-26 final homestand. He's been an absolute terror in day games. 16 home runs, 51 of his 105 RBIs in the afternoon. 1-1. We've had this discussion before. I have a hard time in my mind differentiating between Bryant and Rizzo if I had to pick one Cub for league MVP. I don't think you could make the case for one that strongly over the other.
Yeah, we have all these nuances now that come into Bryant playing multiple positions, which adds to his MVP type credentials. Rizzo, the team leader and very consistent throughout the year. When you add up all the things that Bryant has been able to do and really not suffer offensively, that does give him a leg up. I still think, even though it's the other league,
don't leave us hanging.
I won't. DH has got to get a little more credit. Ortiz is on an MVP run.
A couple of strikeouts for Reyes against Anthony Rizzo. That gets him out of any further trouble in the second.
The NLDS, Friday, October 7th on FS1.
Juicy chicken bites in a tangy, sweet, and spicy sauce with fries for just $3. The good deals are never safe. The sweet and spicy chicken bites box, also available in classic or buffalo for just $3. Checkers and rallies, fast foodies know the deal.
Every screen in your home is a TV screen. Plus, you can record shows on the go with the TiVo app. And with download speeds up to 150 meg and matching Wi-Fi speeds, Extreme was made for multi-streaming. Extreme bundles with TV, internet, and phone start as low as $29.99 each a month for a year. Plus, get an extra $10 off a month for 3 years with code SAVE10. Don't wait. Call 800-SIMPLIFY.
One day this Saturday, September 24th, all 3 Green stores hosting the Quad City Giant Green Garage Sale. Independent used car buyers and Kelly Blue Book representatives are on site. All competing to get you the most money for your trade. You are guaranteed to get the highest trade amount possible. These reps are experts who know the market and are willing to give you more than you ever thought possible for your vehicle. Choose from over 1,500 vehicles, deeply discounted. Everything is on sale one day only, the 24th, at the Green Family of Dealers Garage Sale, your discount destination. Green, gotta go to Green.
Sorry, girl, but there's a better deal out there. I get my pick of one of 3 sandwiches, seasoned fries, an apple pie, and a drink for just $3. 4 for $3? Nothing sorry about that. Rallies and Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal.
Mike and Molly has moved.
I'm moving. I'm moving!
Mike and Molly.
Well, there's been at least 1 run scored in each half inning so far this afternoon. To the top of the third, a 5-3 Cardinals lead, and Johnny Peralta leads things off for St. Louis against Jason Hamill. Peralta, Adams, and Molina as part of the Cardinals order all scored a run in that 4-run first. And Peralta whizzes a base hit back up the middle. Well, we talked about Jason Hamill's season being up and down in terms of results on the field. He was great right out of the break, winning his first 6 starts, and then has struggled in his last 6. But kind of the up and down nature of his season has transcended off the field as well, Kenny, with a little bit more.
They've dealt with some family difficulties for sure. In June, shortly after learning that his mother-in-law, Lori Nichols, had completed her treatment for lymphoma, the Hamills learned that his father-in-law, Bill, had pancreatic cancer. And Jason is very close with Bill. He lost his own dad at age 17. And that's why he went on the family medical emergency list from August 3rd to August 8th, so his wife Alyssa could go home to Rhode Island to be home with her parents. So what happened? Bill undergoes surgery, pancreatic surgery, on August 22nd. It took 10 hours. After that, he learned he would need 10 rounds of chemotherapy and 5.5 weeks of radiation. After his first round was complete in September, Alyssa asked him, "Hey, do you want to come out for the clincher, celebrate on the field with Jason?" The very next day, Bill was on a plane to Chicago. His answer obviously was yes, to Alyssa's surprise. And his doctor has told him he could postpone his radiation until after the postseason so he could be at Wrigley as often as possible as long as he is feeling well. And you can see here the celebration. That's Bill on the left, Alyssa on the right, Jason in the middle with their 2 children. Kind of a heartwarming story, and the Cubs are keeping Bill going for sure.
Wow, a terrific story indeed. And Kenny, I know that your bow tie benefits charitable causes week to week in Leukemia and the Lymphoma Society today.
Yes, it is, Matt. And obviously this one has special meaning here in Chicago. Anthony Rizzo and John Lester, both lymphoma survivors.
Terrific stuff. A ball and 2 strikes is the count to Matt Adams here, dealing with the leadoff hitter aboard in a 2-run game early on. Look out. Still the ball and 2 strikes to Matt Adams. It kind of makes you think that for Jason Hamill, that the every 5 days of just getting back there on the mound, while that is his job and his focus, it also serves as something of an escape when there are tough things happening at home.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he has changed a lot this year to be prepared for the whole year. So to say that perspective has been put in place is an understatement, but Jason Hamill, he desperately wanted to shake a lot of what people thought about him this time of the year, in the second half. And he really has, for the most part. He's done that.
So the Cubs with a 13-man bullpen and 4 left-handers, including Mike Montgomery, who's up a little early than anybody would have thought today. Adams hanging around. Yeah, back to the perceptions that Hamill has tried to shake this year. It was more than a perception. It was a statistical fact that the body of his work after the All-Star break had not been good. So he got onto a different physical regime this year and started out in great shape. Again, 6-0 right out of the All-Star break. Hit the little road bump shortly thereafter. I think all things considered, though, John, it's been a better second half for Jason Hamill this year than in years past.
Oh, absolutely. Coming out of the gate 6-0, like we mentioned, he's had 3 really bad games. 3 games where he's given up 10 runs. 10 runs, 10 runs, and 9 runs, basically. Not all of those earned, but bad games that would certainly put a dent in your career or year numbers.
Adams swats a fly ball the other way. Soler in the sun field all of a sudden. And that's the first down of the 3rd. Greater coverage of baseball is sponsored by T-Mobile, and a pitch-by-pitch sequence for Alex Reyes getting out of trouble in the second.
Well, his low fastball sets up his incredible changeup, and that's twice he's been able to get 2 strikes on Rizzo and then finish him with that changeup, and that's a power changeup off of a fastball. And the key is it's got to be off the same height of the original pitch, the fastball that he threw previously, and very difficult, as good as Rizzo is with 2 strikes, to lay off a pitch down in the zone.
1-on-1 out now for the 7-time All-Star Yadi Molina, who ran a hitting streak to 10 with the 2-run double back in the first. Randall Grichuk waiting next. Peralta not a threat to run off of first. Chopper that's going to get over Zobrist and into right center field. Here come the Cardinals once more. I don't know that that hit the ground at all. That was just a flare that kind of looked like it chopped off the plate. St. Louis has a multiple base runner threat mounted again.
This one breaks the bat, I believe, at the end of the bat. Goes down with a hit, and that might be the it.
Wow. Jason Hamill will not survive the third today. Well, his final home start, and it's been such a good home story this year, but it doesn't go as long as he would have liked. Hamill gone here in the third, what promises to be the first of many pitching changes today. We'll be right back.
Santa Fe Sport versus the Ford Edge.
Should we be wearing helmets?
The Santa Fe Sport has an available multi-view camera system. The Edge doesn't.
What was that?
On the Hyundai, available auto emergency braking. On the Ford, nope.
Hey, what's with the axe?
And only the Hyundai is backed by America's best warranty. Better is the reason to buy Hyundai.
I'm out.
The 2017 Santa Fe Sport from Hyundai.
Put some distance between you and temptation with Meta Appetite Control. Clinically proven to help reduce hunger between meals. New from Metamucil, the #1 doctor-recommended brand.
My name is Paul. I live in New York. By the time I was in my mid-20s, I had a lot of gray hair. I'm not going to spend hours on my hair. I tried Just for Men. Totally easy. Every 5 weeks or so, 5 minutes, it's done. My wife's blown away. She's like, you look 10 years younger.
Great looking hair made easy. Just for Men.
Experts choose Goodyear. And everything we learn making these tires inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Jason Hamill gone here in the third time in his last 7 starts that he is unable to get through 4. Mike Montgomery takes over in the AT&T call to the bullpen. He inherits 2 runners aboard and 1 away with Randall Grichuk at the plate. Montgomery has been invaluable this year for the Cubs after being acquired from Seattle around the midway point of the season. He's made 5 starts this year and is appearing in his 46th game overall for the Cubs.
Yeah, he's got a good live fastball and a good over-the-top curveball. And I'll tell you, even thinking forward, the Cubs have tried to provide the best opportunities to be equipped to play whoever they play. But I right away think about Montgomery and his importance if they do play the Los Angeles Dodgers, as many left-handed bats they have in that lineup.
Grichuk into the gap in left center field. More Cardinal damage in the third. Here's Peralta to score. Molina held at third. An RBI double for Grichuk. Already a 3 RBI afternoon for the St. Louis center fielder. And the Cardinals go back out on top by 3.
No, I don't want it. You can have it. I don't want it. You can have it. Every time one team gets closer, the opportunity to shut down the Cardinals in the top of the half of the inning has not happened. And so far, the Cardinals have scored as the Cubs in every inning here in the third, looking to add more.
Here's Aledmus Diaz now. Diaz was a strikeout victim back in the first. Run charged to Jason Hamill, and one of the two runners on base currently still his responsibility. It's turning in to be quite an afternoon for Randal Grichuk, by the way. He has really been the offensive key, especially when you consider what could have been a devastating loss when Matt Holliday was lost for what looks like, unless he plays before next Sunday, a Holliday lost for really the duration of the second half. There's a chance that Holliday comes back before then. He was hit in the hand by Mike Montgomery, and there were those that thought Matt Holliday represents all the right-handed presence in this lineup, and they're going to not be able to survive without him. Here it was from August 11th, as a matter of fact, and that happened to be the day that Randal Grichuk hit a pinch hit home run, and Grichuk really hasn't stopped hitting since. There's ball 4 to Diaz, and the bases are again loaded for St. Louis. Kenny, it's been a couple of different reassignments for Grichuk this year, and since coming back up the second time, he has been exactly what the Cardinals had hoped for.
He has been, Matt, and if you remember at the start of the season, they were thinking this guy could be a 30-homer man, but it turned into what he called a crazy year. 2 minor league demotions. He was hitting .206 after his first 204 at-bats. That prompted the first demotion. But when he came back the second time, Mike Matheny told him, listen, just go play. And it's turned into a much freer Randal Grichuk. He said when he went to the minor leagues, he could work on some things. All eyes weren't on him. He took the demotion the right way, as did Colton Wong when he went down. It's paying dividends now.
Alex Reyes grounds to Zobrist to Russell for 1, and they double off Reyes at first. The damage minimized at a single run in the St. Louis half of the third. It's 6-3 Cardinals.
Viagra single packs, so guys with ED can take Viagra when they need it.
Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain or Adempas for pulmonary hypertension. Your blood pressure could drop to an unsafe level. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing.
Ask your doctor about Viagra single packs.
Sport your fall favorites. Find your style at Men's Warehouse during our fall wardrobe event. Buy one, get one free on great designer looks going on now. Men's Warehouse. Rise to the occasion.
The exhilarating 2017 Lincoln MKZ for $349 a month, only at your Lincoln dealer.
It's here. The amazing new iPhone everyone's excited about. And T-Mobile is the best place to get it. Your iPhone deserves a network built for unlimited data for everyone. So you can use your new iPhone 7 to stream, watch, and play as much as you want. All on America's fastest 4G LTE network. Now, when you go unlimited with T-Mobile One, you get iPhone 7 on us. Only at T-Mobile.
Looking for balance in your digestive system? Try Align Probiotic. For a non-stop, sweet treat goodness, hold on to your Tiara kind of day. Live 24/7 with 24/7 digestive support. Try Align, the #1 GE recommended probiotic.
Gray skies are gonna clear up. Put on a happy face. Brush off the clouds and cheer up. Put on a happy face.
MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. It delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Well, Alex Reyes gets another run of support. In fact, he has sat around and watched his offense give him at least a run in all 3 innings. And here in the bottom half of the third, he'll go to work on Ben Zobrist, Addison Russell, and Jason Hayward. 6-3 St. Louis. Reyes back to work. I wonder when you watch Alex Reyes, and we can watch him for the first time as we are live and in person today, what it looks like from the dugout, from eye level. And Adam Wainwright is kind enough to take some time with us today to maybe give us that perspective. Adam, good afternoon to you. Thanks for the time. Alex Reyes looks like he could stick around here for a while.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on. He does. He's a special talent. I mean, as you can tell, when you watch him pitching, he has the whole assortment. He has 4 ridiculous pitches. He throws almost 100 miles an hour. If he wants to, he can throw it over 100 miles an hour. I mean, everybody throws, it seems like, is trending towards 100 miles an hour. But what he does too is he doesn't just have the pitches. He has the poise and he has the confidence to go with it.
Ben Zobrist fouls that one off to stay a ball and 2 strikes. Zobrist, Russell, and Hayward here in the third.
Well, Adam, I know that this game is sped up and we see so many young pitchers being brought to the big leagues, but I'm impressed by his ability to shut off that 100-mile-an-hour and look more like a starting pitcher who's utilizing his secondary stuff.
Little tapper to first, and a close play. Adams gets there in time.
Yeah, he does. He has that ability. He and Carlos both do a really good job of that. They have the ability to throw the ball 100 miles an hour when they want to. They also can back off, throw it 93, 94, 95, 96 with movement. And now he's sliding. He's got the slider now. He's incorporating. He's got the big curveball. He's got the great changeup. I really like him. I think he's going to have I mean, obviously, you look at his stuff, you're like, yeah, he's got a chance. But what I love about Alex so much, he asks the right questions. He puts the time in, the workout in the gym and out on the field. I mean, we can't say enough nice things about Alex. He's come up. He's done exactly what he's supposed to do. He's seen, not heard. He's working his tail off. He's pitching some of the biggest games of the year for us. He threw 7 shutout against the Giants at a tough AT&T Park the other day. So, I mean, we have all the confidence in the world in Alex.
Adam, I know you guys have been through so much. You got a pedigree of 3 divisions in a row. Just talk to me a little bit. Has the mindset changed at all, or your club just business as usual as you go down the stretch trying to fight for that playoff spot?
Well, I think what we're battling right now is that everyone assumes here that we're going to be one of those 2 teams in the wild card. So what we're doing right now is we're making sure we show up every single day ready to play, ready to win a game, like it's the last game we'll ever play. Because the fact is the 2 teams we're battling for that last wild card spot, they're good enough, they're talented enough that it would be our last game if we didn't take every game that important.
Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Addison Russell. Batting with 1 away and the bases empty in the third. We continue visiting with Adam Wainwright. Next out there on Tuesday, Adam, we understand. And I mean, this is actually kind of a serious question as Russell sends one back to Reyes, who slips, and Russell's going to beat it out. That would have been a tough play. Here's a semi-serious question for you, Adam. Are you more looking forward to swinging the bat in your next start or being on the mound? Because you've turned into this RBI machine. We're all noticing.
I want to do both. I want to pitch really well, and I want to hit really well. I want to be dangerous at the plate, make sure that pitcher out there knows he's got to execute. If we have 9 tough spots in the order as opposed to 8, it makes our lineup that much deeper, makes it harder. I know if I'm pitching and I'm facing a guy who can really handle the bat, it makes it a lot more challenging for me as a pitcher. So I'd trade all the 18 RBIs to have about 21 wins right now and a 2 ERA. Don't get me wrong, but I'm having fun at the plate. I mean, I'm having so much fun. I have a lot of confidence at the plate right now. I expect to go up there and get a hit.
Here's Jason Hayward now. That ball off of Russell's bat, by the way, scored an infield single. So 1 out, 1 on for Hayward, who popped out to end the first. I mean, that's kind of been the way it's been for the St. Louis Cardinals, Adam. And you've been around there long enough to know. I mean, for the Cardinals to lead the National League in home runs and kind of live and die on the 3-run home run, we're not used to watching Cardinals baseball that way. How's it been from your perspective on the mound?
Yeah, it's a different team. It's a different mix of guys. It's a different set of skills. A couple years ago, you know, we didn't hit many home runs, but we had like the most 2-out RBIs in the game or something. We hit like 400 with guys in scoring position or something like that, something crazy. The next year we did it with pitching. We went out there and had the lowest ERA. We had the lowest every pitching category you could have. And this year's just a little bit different team. Now we're hitting the home runs, which is really the first time we've hit tons of home runs since I've been here. And it's all the way down through the order. It's even off the bench. The guys are, I think if I'm not mistaken, we set the record for pinch hit home runs this year. We got a lot of guys that can hit the ball out of the park, and we're doing it. I mean, you know what? If you're going to live and die by that, you just got to hit them a lot, and that's what we're doing.
3-1 pitch to Jason Hayward is sent into center field. Long run for Grichuk. It's Carpenter from second who gets out there to make the catch, and they're 2 away.
Well, Adam, there are some unexplainables, and I would think that this next stat goes in an unexplainable, and next year could completely flip-flop. But do you have any reasons at all to believe why at home just hasn't worked out for the Cardinals as you get ready to close out your season at home?
Yeah, it is an outlier. I really believe that. It's the craziest thing, and I tell you, we want to host that game anyways. We want to host that one-game wild card. That's the goal right now that the Cubs have clinched. We want to host that one game. We're still confident at home. It's crazy. I mean, you know what? A couple years ago, we won every game at home. We lost every game on the road, and it was, why can't you guys win on the road? So, as you know, baseball is an up and down thing. You go through a couple of years in a row where you can't win at home or you can't win on the road, and it all evens out. But there's absolutely no explanation for it. Our fans deserve better from us at home. No question about it. We should have been playing better all year there. It's one of those weird things that once you start thinking about it, if you start thinking about it, it can add that extra stress and extra pressure on there. I don't know what it is. We don't show up thinking about it. Just after the game we get asked about it. Gosh, I don't know. I can't understand why we can't win at home. We have great fans that show up and support us every single day, and we show up confident every day. There's really no explanation. It's just one of those weird deals.
Adam, we really appreciate the visit. By the way, just one little move with your right hand, you can knock down that Gatorade tower behind you that somebody tried to build without your noticing it. We wouldn't hate you for that.
Over here?
Yeah.
I didn't know those. Oh, there it was. Sorry,
hey, we
Carlos.
appreciate the visit, Adam, and good luck on Tuesday and down the stretch. Thanks again for the time.
Thanks for having me on.
Adam Wainwright joining us from the dugout. Clearly, there's a foul pop that Moss can't get to. It's tough duty down there for a guy that's not a true outfielder and dealing with a bullpen mound and a sunshine field to boot. And Soler has another chance.
Yeah, it's a tough play when you got a left fielder coming in, and anytime they start messing with that bullpen mound, that is not fun.
So it's 2 balls and a strike to Soler. Russell aboard on the 1-out infield single. Hayward lifted a pop into shallow center. Reyes looking for his first scoreless inning today, and it looks like he's going to get it with a fly ball for Stephen Piscotty. Adam Wainwright sees all. Knocked down the tower, driving in 18 runs, and the Cardinals lead it through 3.
Hey, we need to ship this court to Downtown Architects in Baltimore.
Right on.
To our newest associate, Karen, and her very bright future.
When the unexpected strikes, will you be ready? Join the over 1 million small businesses who trust the Hartford to help them stay in business.
Good or better? The Hyundai Sonata versus the Toyota Camry. The Sonata has an available panoramic sunroof. The Camry? No. In the Sonata, available Android Auto. The Camry? No again. And only the Hyundai is backed by America's best warranty. Better is the reason to buy Hyundai. The 2017 Sonata from Hyundai.
We're downtown to see if guys can tell the difference between a Joseph A. Bank suit and more expensive designer brands. Which one is the Armani suit? The polka dotted tie. Please reveal. Oh, my goodness. Do they all say Joseph A. Bank? Very impressive. Joseph A. Bank, the new tradition since 1905.
This week only, don't order Domino's over the phone. Order online.
This week only, order any pizza online at menu price and get the second one free when you carry out.
I'm in there as Katie.
I'll call you later. Or, no, I won't. I'll text you because, what am I, your dad? Don't stay out too late.
Yeah, just text me.
Thank you. Get home safe. This must be what Antonio Brown feels like when he's dancing in the end zone.
Huh. This must be how Lucas felt when he finally got Katie's number.
Pepsi.
Today's telecast is sponsored by Hyundai and by Domino's. Order online and track your order. Still a 6-3 Cardinal lead as we start the fourth. Mike Montgomery continues on the mound for the Cubs. He'll face the top of the St. Louis order. Matt Carpenter, Stephen Piscotty, and Brandon Moss. And in the interest of fairness, after visiting with Adam Wainwright, we welcome John Lester to the broadcast this afternoon. John, thanks for taking some time with us.
Yeah, guys, no problem.
Been such a terrific year for you guys, and down the stretch, no exception. For you at 18-4, I mean, I can't imagine, and you're a guy that's been to 4 All-Star games and won a couple of World Series, but I can't imagine having much more fun than it looks like you've had this year.
Yeah, it's been it definitely is interesting in our clubhouse and dugout during games and after games and before games, all that stuff. We definitely are not short on having fun here.
Is that a function of winning? I mean, you've been involved with winning teams in the past. I mean, don't all winning teams have fun, or is it something a little different brand of fun here?
Well, yeah, obviously when you lose, you can't have too much fun. But yeah, the winning helps. But I think it's just the atmosphere that Joe brings and kind of just lets us be us and lets us police ourselves. And, you know, obviously we do the crazy dress ups and, you know, all that fun stuff when we go on the road. And we got the NFL Sunday coming this weekend. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a product of everything. We got a lot of different personalities on this team that like to have fun, like obviously Rossi and a few other guys, and obviously the youngness, the youthfulness that we have on this team helps. It keeps us older guys feeling good.
Good. Take another look at Wilson Contreras. Looked like a foul tip off the hand. Oh man, just no good place to put that throwing hand apparently. Hey, as we discuss catchers here, John, let's talk about David Ross a little bit. You brought his name up. I mean, your friendship, your professional relationship with David has been no secret, of course, and we've been reading some things down the stretch where you have been extremely complimentary toward him and how he's kind of helped your 18-win season this year. Give us some insight. What exactly do you mean when you talk about all that?
Well, I got done saying something about it this morning. I think Rossi's a guy that, you know, you don't really appreciate until you're with him every day, you know, until you get to see what he brings to the table, even when he's not playing. You know, it's hard to be a bench player and bring energy every day, and he does that. And it's unbelievable because, I mean, there's days, obviously, where, you know, you sit on the bench, but you're kind of just tuned out and not really paying attention to what's going on. But this guy every day is locked in, cheering his guys on, always brings energy. Like I said before, always having fun. So I think for me, that's the most impressive thing. You know, and obviously the relationship we have when we go out there and compete is completely different.
Yeah, we're showing folks the ceremony that the Cubs had, that you guys had for him yesterday, kind of celebrating his career in this final weekend on the home regular season schedule. It looked like that caught him by surprise yesterday.
It did, and actually a lot of us didn't know he didn't know about it. So we're glad that it didn't come up in conversation in the clubhouse before the game. And he told us when me and Lack and Riz got out here early, he's like, "What are you guys doing out here so early?" And we couldn't really say anything. So I'm glad it did catch him. I'm glad his family was able to come and be a part of it.
Well, John, I know that it almost seems that when Rossi's back there, and like you said, as a bench player coming out, he gets more enjoyment getting you through a game than he does in any other component of whether it's hitting. And he's gotten some big hits in your game. So it looks like this package deal, you can sense that he wants so bad for you to finish at the level and rate that you're going right now.
Yeah, and I remember him saying a little while back during the season that when he was in Atlanta and kind of took over the full backup catcher's role behind Brian McCann, you know, it became so important for him that day to win. And he didn't care how they got there, what they did, but that day just meant, like, it meant so much to him to win that day because that was his only day to catch in a week. So to hear him say that, I feel like he takes that same approach on the games that I go out there. And obviously he expects a lot out of me, so we have some friendly talks in between innings and sometimes on the mound that don't go so well for me.
Yeah, I can imagine here with him scoring right from first base. You could see the parachute coming out.
Yeah.
And getting that run as you drove it in. But what visually, I know what he does behind the plate as it works in. You don't want to be out there shaking your head no a lot, but what do you like the way his setup and everything about his approach? I don't think people understand how important it is for a pitcher to be inviting to throw to a catcher.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a bigger target back there, which I think helps me. You know, a lot of my stuff is side to side with a little depth at the end, and he does such a good job of letting those pitches ride and catching those to where it almost looks like a strike as opposed to being a strike. So that helps. And just everything else he brings, the game calling, all that stuff, the game management really keeps me in line.
Hey, John, we really appreciate the visit. Thanks for taking some time, and good luck down the stretch.
All right, guys, I appreciate it.
A 1-2-3 4th. Cardinals still on top 6-3.
With this level of engineering, it's a performance machine. With this degree of intelligence, it's a supercomputer. With this grade of protection, it's a fortress. And with this standard of luxury, it's an oasis. Introducing the completely redesigned E-Class. It's everything you need it to be, and more. Lease the E300 for $549 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
I live in a nameless town, blackout. Midnight, where we used to dance, underneath the early halogen lamps. All I went away so fast, blackout.
In our quest to reach our greatest heights, we require focus, resolve, and the ability to grip the moment. For it is in these moments that we define ourselves by our determination to never let go. Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball.
I am Sebastian Atwa, brewmaster, risk taker. I sold everything I had to own a brewery. You might have heard its name. Stella Artois, the legacy.
For all the big moments.
David Ortiz on a magical night at Fenway.
The big blasts.
Ortiz in the deep right field. We'll see you later tonight.
I won't ever let you down. The big smile.
Ortiz does it again.
The big heart.
I won't ever let you down.
Thanks, Big Papi. You're not walking away. You're walking off.
Home half of the fourth, still a 6-3 St. Louis lead. Alex Reyes back to work against Wilson Contreras. Jason Hamill's spot in the order, and then Dexter Fowler. Mike Montgomery's been out there for the last inning plus, and we'll see if he bats in that 9th spot or if in fact there'll be a pinch hitter. And as soon as we ask the question, we see Tommy La Stella walking into the on deck circle. So Joe Maddon, true to his promise, looking for opportunities to keep his bench fresh down the stretch. And a foul tip off the bat of Contreras to keep him at 0-2.
Alex Reyes has done a nice job. When there were some big time innings that could have got away from him, he came up with some clutch outs with runners in scoring position, and he would like nothing more than to start getting some clean innings.
Ball and 2 strikes to Contreras. Well, the closest thing to it was the third, when he allowed the infield single to Addison Russell, and then nothing further. But 2 in the first on his watch, and then 1 in the second. The 1-2 to Contreras on a sharp hop for Diaz. And there's 1 away to start the home fourth. Last time the Cardinals scored in the first 3 innings of a game at Wrigley Field, it was July of 2012. They ended up winning that one 9-7. It wasn't that long ago, but it was such a different Cardinal team then. We've already documented the differences between the 2016 Redbirds and teams of earlier vintage. The fact that this is a Cardinal team that leads the National League in home runs. A major league record 15 pinch hit home runs, as Adam Wainwright reminded us. And here's La Stella pinch hitting now in the 9th spot. With the wind still blowing in, John, and it was blowing in at 7 miles an hour at first pitch, it kind of brings me back to the point that you talked about earlier. The fact that we haven't seen many games, and Joe Madden confirmed as much with us. There haven't been as many Wrigley Field games this year, and those usually happen in the summer with the wind blowing out, where, you know, the Dave Kingmans of the world and Mike Schmitz of the world would come in here and hit 3-4 home runs in an afternoon, and it would leave people wondering what they just watched.
Yeah, you could almost count on them. Here, Colorado. You watch games in Colorado and you understand why it's 14-12, 11-10.
And that's still happening.
Yeah. And you watch certain games, you don't have to see the game. You look at the score and go, oh, the wind's blowing out in Wrigley. Everyone who's been there, done that, knows it affects the way everything is approached. But this has not been the case this year, and they really have benefited in their starting rotation.
But both catchers have been beat up early in this one. Molina takes a foul tip. La Stella grounds it to first, and that's the second out of the inning. But my question is this, and I'm no meteorologist, certainly, but I wonder if there's a change atmospherically, or if some of the construction in the outfield, notably the huge video board in left center and the big scoreboard down the right field line, if that's changed the way the wind blows around here, and if that's contributed into the rarity of those big wind-blown afternoons.
Well, you know, even with that scoreboard, if the wind's blowing in, it could actually add and aid a ball that is not hit high in the air. So line drives are still going to be able to have some damage here, and that's what they were hoping.
Dexter Fowler out to right center field and into the gap. Fowler heading for third. Hey, this is going to put him a home run shy of the cycle. Singled in the first, doubled in the second, triples here in the fourth.
Well, supposed to be away. He pulls it. He knows as soon as he hits this, at this point, he's got the gears to turn on when he wants to. What else do they got going besides individual awards, MVPs, Cy Youngs, and why not a cycle?
Here's Chris Bryant now. You know, just to button up the conversation on runs at Wrigley this year. Last season, there were 3.9 runs per game scored at Wrigley Field. This year, 3.91. And those are the lowest runs per game totals at this ballpark since 1992. Now, I'm sure Chris Bosio and the pitching staff, Joe Madden as well, they want credit given to the pitchers themselves, and that's certainly a great point. But that doesn't speak to the opposing side. The Cubs rotation well documented, and deservedly so, as being one of the best in Cubs franchise history. The fact that Jason Hamill struck out 8 batters today, and he fell a handful short. The Cubs would have been just the second pitching staff to have 5 guys win at least 10 games and strike out at least 150. You know who the first pitching staff was to have done that? 5 guys with at least 10 wins and at least 150 strikeouts.
I'm going to say us. We had 15 wins out of all 5 guys at one point.
All right, so you're right about the team. What year? Give me a vintage for your Braves.
I'm going to say when Denny Nagel was on our team.
Got to help me out. I don't know that off the top of my head.
I'm trying to figure out. I have so many years playing. I want to say late 90s.
98.
Yeah.
Year you guys lost to the Padres, I think, in the NLCS. Ooh, Reyes wanted that pitch. Just missed the corner. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Anthony Rizzo next. 2 gone, runner at third, and that's beaten up the third baseline foul. To a busying bullpen. See, Trevor Cahill was up earlier. He looks like he's hot and ready to go. The next 3-2 home, and that's in for a called strike 3. Second straight scoreless inning turned in by Alex Reyes. He survives it despite the 2-out triple, and it's still a 6-3 St. Louis lead.
A car should only be measured by one thing. How it makes you feel.
The Notre Dame Football Replay is presented by Team Notre Dame partners Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade.
2 games into last year, Brian Van Gorder's defense didn't do the job, was under some heat, and 2 games over 500 yards allowed this year. And Brian Kelly's had to answer a lot of questions about the defense and the numbers that they have been yielding here. 4 ranks out of the 128 schools that are ranked in the FBS. Almost 200 rushing yards, 440 yards a game, 32 points allowed. No sacks. No sacks, no forced fumbles, not even that the opposing offense recovered themselves. They have not been able to find impact, game-changing players on the defensive side of the ball thus far. And there's a run by Daniel Jones to start this drive. He gains 9 yards, Doug. A lot of things to figure out here, reasons and excuses for why Notre Dame's defense hasn't been good so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, today they're simplifying and playing some straight man-to-man coverage and just getting beat one-on-one. So it's not that the kids aren't sure what they're doing, they're just not getting the job done.
Dave Jones all 10 on that run. First down, Jaleel Duncan gain of 5.5, and they're moving the ball up front.
And then when you backtrack off of that, why aren't they getting the job done? Is it technique, or you're not jamming correctly? Now we look at the Duke offense and 2 consecutive running plays for good yardage.
The quarterback Jones for 10, Duncan for 5, and then to the air. And Jonathan Lloyd is erased. Drew Tranquil's had an active first half, makes his 3rd solo tackle.
Boy, in a lot of space here. If he gets away from Tranquil, he is off and running in the slot here. Tranquil from depth comes flying up, and the key to this is don't slow down. Close that as quickly as possible. Go right at the receiver. He just gets enough of him to pull him down.
That's what they worked on this week. Use that speed to power. Make sure you're in position to make a tackle. He was almost out of position there, candidly, but it was strong enough to bring him down and set up 3rd and 7. Irish drop 8 against the 3-man rush. Jones fires for the first down to Ranning. Bounced off a Notre Dame tackle. And finally, Niles Morgan says enough of this. Brings him down hard, but in the Irish territory after a gain of 16.
Just a zone coverage outside receiver. The only guy you have to worry about is Niles Morgan underneath coverage. It's a big old zone. Cole Luke's sitting off deep. The key to that is pass protection. He was able to sit there. Jones just took his time and delivered a strike. But that was straight zone.
Brian Kelly said these two backs for Duke are good, Duncan and Wilson. It's now Wilson who had the kickoff return earlier in the backfield, and he has a run to the 37-yard line. That's a first down gain of 8 yards, and it puts you in great position offensively.
I'll tell you what, this is gash. You follow your guard pulling and Banner gets up on a linebacker. It's just, that's very, very well blocked. And he's elusive. He's quick. He's a slasher.
Keeping an eye on, keep an eye on him, Doug, on the sideline after he took that hit. 2nd and 2. It is a first down run for Joseph Ajibi. He's the third back. He's the redshirt junior from Riverside, California. But that'll move the chains here as Duke down 14-0, 6 minutes into the game, driving to take the lead here in South Bend. Jones gives to Ajibi. We'll just get back over the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a yard as Daniel Cage joined Isaac Rochelle on the tackle. Cage in the 75 on Van Gorder's defense. He's a young man who's played better because in part they've dealt with his sleep apnea using one of those CPAP machines. Getting a better night's sleep, eating better, trimmed down, healthier, more energetic. And he's had a couple of good games for Notre Dame thus far this year. 2nd and 9. Jonathan Lloyd eluded that tackle and is within a couple of the first down as Niles Morgan makes the stop after a gain of 7.
Snyder's tight end out there working for him against a couple Notre Dame defenders. But he does a great job of getting inside. I mean, there's 3 defenders, only 2 blockers, and he finds a crease.
If you're not tackling well, this Duke offense can be problematic. Just make a man miss and get going. 3rd and 2, and that is going to be Tavon Coney doing his job to stop Jalay Duncan from the 25 with a poor field goal kicking unit. 0 for 3 on the year. I would imagine it's go for it time for Cutcliffe.
And that is not the strength of Duke versus Notre Dame, is hammering the ball up in there. So this being a 4th and 1 is not a comfort zone for Duke at all.
At 6'5", Jones, the redshirt freshman, a decent runner. It's a long yard to get. The zone read trying to work inside. Duncan got hit, and Niles Morgan may have kept him on the opposite side of the line to gain. So often now when a first down resets the change, they mark the ball right at that yard line, like right at the 34 when this drive started, meaning he needs to touch the 24 with the ball to keep the drive alive. That's why they don't need to bring out the sticks and measure. It goes back the other way, and Brian Van Gorder's defense comes up with a stop.
Niles Morgan in the middle just steps up in, closing in quickly. I'll tell you, there was a crease there initially, but you're coming from such depth that Notre Dame closes it off.
Defense needed a stop. They get it. All leave it at 14, about a third of the way through this one.
We now move ahead in the action.
David Cutcliffe was supposed to be a part of that Charlie Weiss staff, but did not get to start the season because of health issues in Weiss's first year. Tarian Folston with the run for a gain of 8 yards. And Doug, let's see if this Notre Dame team can just line up and run the ball. You would think that they'd be able to do that against Duke.
I really feel like they could line up and just throw the ball and walk it down the field, and they want to establish the run. They're lining up in 2 tight end sets now, last play and this play.
Oh, Kaiser lost the snap. The ball is free. Joe Giles Harris dove in there. As they umpile them, it's a scramble down on the bottom to see who has it. Giles Harris, I believe it was 44, and Kaiser arrived at about the same time.
Well, right away, Borders was running to the sideline saying Duke had the ball, so he thinks they have it.
And they do. Ben Humphreys, the other linebacker, along with Joe Giles Harris, got in there And Humphreys comes away with it for the Blue Devils.
Well, Notre Dame's in a pistol formation, which is a short shotgun, and they want to try to run the option out of it. And Kaiser's just rushing it a little bit, drops the snap. Actually, it was going to be just a straight handoff.
And it was my mistake, 34, not 44. Humphreys was the body that was in there and got it. And David Cutcliffe and his team's got the ball in great field position on the road. Again, reiterate what he told Catherine right before the game. A win here would be as big a win as their programs had to come to South Bend as 3 touchdown underdogs and beat Notre Dame. They're back in it as Jones fires towards the end zone. Touchdown! Quay Chambers brings it in. And Duke has scored 3 touchdowns in a row to take the lead on Notre Dame.
They've been running some quick passing game and quick screens out to the wide receivers. They pump this one. Settle, and Drew Tranquill happens to fall down spinning to chase, and it's a walk-in touchdown.
Quay Chambers, who was, as I mentioned, a scout team quarterback, nationally ranked as a good dual threat quarterback, was moved to wide receiver last year. No career receptions before this year, as the extra point is added by A.J. Reed. How about a place to get your first career collegiate touchdown reception in South Bend against the Irish? The field was short because Kaiser mishandled a good snap. Humphreys the recovery. Duke up top. It's the current quarterback to a former quarterback. Notre Dame fans are stunned. Blue Devil fans are thinking, how about this?
He's carrying the team on his shoulders, but still dominating the college game. He's the top college football player. Watcher. He has Xfinity X1, so he can track all the scores and stats and easily switch between close games from the Pac-12, SEC, and Big Ten networks. Become a pro fan, only with Xfinity. Get ESPN Goal Line when you switch to an Xfinity X1 double play and save when you bundle. Call or go online today.
We are the Coors Brewing Company, and our mountain is brewing the world's most refreshing beer. A beer proud enough to wear our name in big, red, scripted letters. That's why we lager, filter, and package cold. Because we believe every climb deserves a refreshing finish. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
My fellow Americans, they say we're a nation divided.
That's not true. We agree on a lot.
Like Paul Rudd. Everybody loves Paul Rudd.
I didn't know this was going to happen. You know what else everyone loves?
Emojis.
No beer.
That's why we're forming the Bud Light Party. Just wait till you see our caucus.
We got the biggest caucus in the country.
I'm really inspired right now.
America has seen the light.
And there's a Bud in front of it.
After the fumble by Deshaun Kaiser, the recovery by Ben Humphreys, the one-play touchdown shot to Quay Chambers, who covers this kickoff with his Duke team up 7. It is a short kick. Fink comes up to get it at the 20, and he's brought down hard at the 27-yard line. Well covered by Jake Kite and the Duke special teams unit making plays. Back to the touchdown, Doug.
Well, it's a fake kid screen, and then 2 receivers are going to release upfield. Drew Tranquill is the safety here over the slot receiver, and on the pump fake, he reacts up, but he sees it in time. His problem was he tried to jam the number 1 receiver up the field, which knocked himself off balance, allowing Chambers to be totally uncovered.
Communication. Issues of trying to simplify yet execute. And on the other side, you saw it after the touchdown tackle and the touchdown score, the kickoff tackle and the touchdown scored by Chambers. These Duke players are having a joyous last hour or so. First down, Kaiser. Stefferson caught at the 44. Devin Stefferson has a touchdown earlier, brought down to the 48-yard line by Jordan Hayes. Good solid pitch and catch of 21 yards.
Stefferson is out here one-on-one with probably one of the best athletes on Duke's team in Borders, and he takes it to the post, spins him around, and then comes to the outside. I mean, you've got to have time to throw this type of route, but that's great patience by a young receiver in running his route.
It's a benefit to take a 144 to the house in the first quarter. They're going to honor that the rest of the way. Adams tries to push the pile. And Josh will gain 2 yards. Terrell Lucas out of Charlotte, North Carolina, redshirt freshman of the Duke tackle.
I really feel like Notre Dame can pass protect, and they should be throwing the ball all over the field. They're trying to establish a run game, and it's not as easy as they think.
Irish love this personnel group. 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 receivers for Kaiser. Over the top, incomplete. Was hoping that C.J. Sanders was going to break clear. And it's going to set up 3rd and long for ND with 5.5 until the half.
Well, last time on 3rd and long, Duke decided to zone blitz you, which is trying to gain pressure, but being safe and keep everything in front, come up and tackle. So this is that same range, although it appears to be just a 3-man rush. They may come off the slot. 3-man rush.
Send 8 back. Kaiser surveys, finds the middle, and Miles Boykin for the first down. Just near the 30-yard line. Good grab for Boykin of 20.
Here's Boykin. But the key is the slot receiver hooking up and drawing a defender in the middle, and there goes Boykin behind them. Again, with just a 3-man rush, all day to throw, stand in there. Actually, a free rusher coming over the edge. But with only a 3-man rush, the windows are small downfield. That opened up nicely.
After Boykin's first Notre Dame grab, a run up the middle with Adams inside the 25-yard line, and Danny Doyle, a 215-pound defensive end Doug told you about earlier, makes the tackle. Notre Dame, quick tempo, trying to get some momentum here, but a big hit on C.J. Sanders. Alonzo Saxton, playing for the injured Devon Edwards, closed right near the first down line.
Saxton just closing. And when you close on a guy that's an elusive runner, don't slow down. Go right at him and try to get to him before he has an opportunity to turn and square you up.
Just shy of the first down, 3rd and short. Notre Dame keeps tight formation and pounds forward with Adams. And Josh takes it to the 17-yard line. We saw the safety, Doug, there. Saxton, we mentioned he's the backup. They'll get DeAndre Singleton, their other starting safety, back at the start of the second half. Targeting penalty at the end of the Northwestern game last week is the reason he's not playing the first half here today. Folst in the back. Tarian left side for about 3 yards.
Again, Brian Kelly talked about having a sense of urgency and consistency from beginning to end. Notre Dame did start fast, had a few speed bumps. I would try to up-tempo it and let Kaiser take control and just start slinging it around the field. Now they're down in the red zone.
Personnel issues here, getting Dexter Williams in the game for the first time here today, the sophomore running back. And on the read, he takes it from Kaiser and turns upfield to the end zone and in. Dexter Williams with a touchdown. The rushing on the field, sub at the very last second. He got there in time.
This is a strong run by Dexter Williams. He gets a block from Torrey Hunter out on the edge, but not a lot of help out there in the secondary, and 2 or 3 arm tackles. Humphreys, Hayes. That's strong running.
That's a guy getting on the field. As I said, he was running out there, a late personnel change. He came on the field ready to go and runs it in for 6. Movement up front as Yoon adds the extra point, and we are all tied. Sophomore from Winter Garden, Florida, Dexter Williams ties the game, 21 apiece. This is a Duke offense that scored 14 against Wake Forest and 13 against Northwestern. So in 8 quarters against Wake and Northwestern, Wake's defense is pretty good. They combined for 27 points. They have 21 here against the Irish. But Notre Dame responds to tie the game. Kickoff return for Wilson. Brought one back to the house earlier. And it's going to be taken to the sideline by Yoon, the kicker, at the 30-yard line. So, Doug, so you're a Notre Dame coach, you're a Notre Dame player. You know that this season has not gone in the first quarter the way it is. You're behind. You're 1-2. Second quarter of the season, Duke, Syracuse, North Carolina State, chance to get on a roll. Here you are at home. Great start, but then a little adversity set in, and they did not respond well.
It was like they took their foot off the gas. They came out smoking, 2 touchdowns quickly, and it was the kickoff return, I think, that just sparked Duke and woke them up and realized, hey, we can make some plays here. Duke does have some athletic guys that are going to make some big plays.
First down run up the middle with Jalay Duncan, the captain of this Duke offense, to the 34-yard line, and that is what Brian Kelly told us. He said when adversity sets in, we can't let it impact us and have a significant switch in the game. Stem the momentum.
Yeah, you can't deal with momentum. You have to be consistent from beginning to end and bring your own energy.
Daniel Jones, first look covered. He rolls it, going to tuck it, throw it, try to run through on Walu. Look at that. 6'5" and packing a punch. Daniel Jones for the first down.
Well, the move he put on James Onwalu is like running the darkness, isn't it? Instead of running the daylight, he just ran right into him. But then he's a big old boy dragging for extra yardage and picking up the first down. I had a coach that used to say that: run to daylight, not to darkness.
You're in face mask to face mask and kept going. The edge goes Duncan, able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Tranquil's 5th tackle of the half after a gain of about a yard. It's an interesting looking quarterback in Jones. He fits the part, the size, the footwork, the way he gets the ball out. You like him.
Other than that last move he made, he runs well too. He really does. I mean, he knows what he's seeing and being very, I don't know, just sure of himself with the football.
There it is. Exactly what you were just talking about, Doug. Jonathan Lloyd, the catch, first down into Irish territory, sure of himself, and he's on to the next play right away. 11-yard gain that time. Didn't even sniff a huddle. It's just right to the line. He looks over to the sideline. They're ready to roll. 44, Duncan breaks another missed Notre Dame tackle, and Duncan to the 32-yard line. Gain of 12.
Now, Duncan is a physical runner. There's no doubt about that. But Tavon Coney's got to bring him down and does not. He just steps through it, pulls through, and Duke's lining up quickly. They've got confidence. They've got momentum. They're going to keep Notre Dame's defense on their heels.
Duncan out, Wilson in. Sean Wilson, the fake. Daniel Jones up top. Look at end zone. Touchdown, Anthony Nash. He beat Cole Luke. And in a half, Duke has scored as many points as they had against Wake Forest and Northwestern combined in the last 2 games. It is a 32-yard touchdown. And the fans are chanting about Brian Van Gorder, the defensive coordinator. Frustration throughout the program here. Extra point added by A.J. Reed.
We now move ahead in the action.
Run up the middle for about 6-7 yards. He never had a body part down. He was laying on his offensive lineman. So that is why Jalay Duncan was able to keep going.
They're going to run another one quick or let it run out. I mean, if you're going to run the ball on first down, just let this clock run.
Yeah, Cutcliffe just put 2 hands up and said, nope, wait, let's check out of here.
But, Coach, we're hot. Yeah. Coach, I got this.
You got 238 yards, the total offense. You got the lead and locker room bound at halftime.
I refuse to let myself be limited. I walk the walk of a man who isn't afraid to wear floral. I don't want to just look at the man in the mirror. I want to know who he is. It's me. I'm comfortable in my own skin, but a man can't walk in public in his skin alone. In the end, you can't waste any time thinking about the end. Wear what you want to wear. Just don't wear any doubts.
Hey, take your brother's sock out of your mouth.
Green means go.
I got it.
Green means go.
Uh-oh.
better get Mako. Come in today and take advantage of our $129 bumper special after a $50 mail-in rebate. Mako, America's Body Shop.
Starbucks Double Shot Coffee and Protein. With the lift of real brewed Starbucks coffee, plus the power of 20 grams of protein, it's all you need to do even more. Starbucks Double Shot, real life energy.
How do you maximize your Sunday football experience? The DirecTV Red Zone channel.
We have a full day of football
with nonstop live coverage of all the action and none of the commercials.
You want to get interactive?
Get every score and then some, all on one screen. Every Sunday.
Ready for that?
Including games, next to games, next to games. Even stream it on your favorite devices, so you can watch your team on the big screen and everyone else on the other. Touchdown! The Red Zone channel. This fall when you upgrade to NFL Sunday Ticket Max, channel 703, only on DirecTV.
Mike Anderson Chevrolet in Maryville brings you an all-star lineup in 2016.
Let's start off at the top of the roster with the all-new redesigned Chevy Malibu. Our team favorite is the all-new Chevy Silverado. Pack away all your gear in this full-size pickup truck.
Hurry into Mike Anderson Chevrolet today and lease a 2016 Silverado for just $299 per month, or lease a 2016 Chevy Cruze for only $179 per month.
Visit Mike Anderson Chevrolet in Merrillville at I-65 and 61st Avenue.
Mike Anderson Chevrolet, the Chevy Giant.
The Notre Dame football replay is presented by Team Notre Dame partners Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade.
This 74-degree first Saturday of fall. Dexter Williams in to start this second half of the backfield for the Irish. Williams using the speed to get to the edge and a gain of 8. Good start to the drive for Notre Dame, trailing by 7.
It's time for the Notre Dame offense to send a little message. They scored 14 quick points and then only 7 throughout the rest of the first half. It's time for Kaiser to take control of this game.
Kaiser had a first half going, a good first half, then fumbled a shotgun snap that led to a Duke touchdown. There he gives to Williams for the gain of 4. We'll take a look at our quarterback comparison, brought to you by Scottrade. There have not been many incompletions, especially for Daniel Jones in that first half.
So much of his is the quick rhythm passing, whether it's wide receiver screens or 3-step drops, but he's also hit the big play over the top.
Kaiser hit a big play earlier, 44-yard touchdown catch by Kevin Stepherson. First and 10. Kaiser saw that safety come down, adjusted the protection up front, throws over the top, complete for the first down. Equinemy is St. Brown. Into Duke territory, lost the football. It was pulled out by Brian Fields, and the Blue Devils have the second turnover of the game.
Fields just kept digging at the ball. First of all, Kaiser does a great job at the line of scrimmage, gets him in the right protection. St. Brown fights.
Fumble recovered by Duke. First down.
Fights to get open. The ball's on the money. You make a big play. Know when your journey's over. Cover up and get down. But Fields keeps digging at it. And this is how Duke is staying in the game, actually leading the game and making plays.
One corner caused it. Brian Fields. The other corner, Breon Borders with the recovery.
We now move ahead in the action.
Mike Tirico, Doug Flutie, Catherine Tappan with you here in South Bend. Rob Highland, our producer. Pierre Musa, our director. Our outstanding Notre Dame on NBC team. Watching the Irish try to dig out of a 7-point hole. Kaiser eludes one blitz. Pass is incomplete as he flipped it forward, trying to get it to his running back, Josh Adams, and avoid the sack late.
Get a secondary blitz coming from deep. Totally unblocked, but runs right past Kaiser. You got to come a little bit under control or zero in on him. Kaiser steps through and then tries to continue to make a big play.
And Doug, remember it was very close to the knee down before he was able to shovel the ball out. Kobe Kwanzaa, freshman at Manchester, Connecticut. Really highly decorated recruit took that. Now Kaiser takes off. He saw the middle of the field open on the quarterback draw to the 40-yard line. Pick up from 23 and a first down before Alonzo Saxton brought him down.
Been waiting for this a little bit because he's had such great pass protection. And the coverage in the zones has been pretty good down the field. And Kaiser's been forcing it. Now it just opens up and he takes off. A few of these, and Duke's going to have to change their approach.
Most of the game, Ben Humphries, that inside linebacker's been in there. He was not. Kaiser, late pressure comes. It's C.J. Sanders down the sideline. Sanders. Well, you get the ball in his hands. The fun begins to the 30. Gain of 30. First down, Notre Dame.
Again, plenty of time to stand in the pocket and let it develop. McGlinchey on the left. Stoned, it's number 68. Left tackle, solid as a rock. Just gives his quarterback all kinds of time. Waits for something to uncover, and C.J. Sanders comes open underneath.
2 big gains brings Notre Dame down here to the 30. Trying to drive and tie the game. On 1st and 10, Josh Adams to the left into the boundary. Good blocking by Boykin, the receiver. Gain of 15 to the 15. A.J. Wolf the tackle.
Well, that left side is the strength of this offensive line for Notre Dame. Quentin Nelson, number 56 at left guard. Right in here. Stays with this block. McGlinchey takes his man wide. Nelson does his deal. Up through. This is actually the same play they fumbled the snap on before, and this time they execute.
Turn over the wide receiver group a little bit. Told you Boykin with the block. Corey Holmes is in the slot. On 1st and 10. On the zone read, Adams. Gained 6 to the 9-yard line. Longest run for Notre Dame came that Kaiser scramble earlier, that quarterback draw, I should say, earlier, a 23-yard run.
Well, you would anticipate, because of the physical advantage or size advantage in the offensive line, that Notre Dame would have been able to hammer the ball. They had the 13-yard run, and it took until a quarterback draw to have a big play in the run game.
4 for the first down, 9 for the touchdown. Duke brings pressure. Adams tries to turn the corner, and he does! Touchdown, Notre Dame! Some good wide receiver blocking on that drive. Brings the Irish to the end zone.
C.J. Sanders and Torrey Hunter Jr. both staying with their man all the way to the end zone. And a great drive at the end by Adams to finish it off.
Hunter on the edge, paving the way for Adams to take it in. 6 plays and 83 yards. And Justin Yoon ties this one at 28 apiece. He said, I need to be more aggressive as a running back this year. By the way, take that 6'2" size and turn it into some power. Josh Adams does that and ties the game at 28.
Shop like a pro at Bass Pro Shops with 2 big sales to gear up and save. Like Redhead men's Finley River shirts for under $18 and Lacrosse Alpha Light waterproof boots for under $80. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
You say crazy, I say crafted. You say savage, I say practiced. Crazy, crafted, savage, practiced. Let's run that whole thing back. You say unbelievable, I say achievable. You say incredible, I say inevitable. Unbelievable, achievable, incredible, inevitable. Let's run that whole thing back. Carbs to compete, electrolytes to replenish.
Before they can feel at home again and go from serving their country to rejoining their families, we're helping to connect them to an even better future. From financial education and wellness programs to job training and housing assistance, we're partnering with military nonprofits dedicated to helping our troops succeed here at home.
Shop like a pro at Bass Pro Shops with 2 big sales to gear up and save. Like select Bass Pro ball caps for only $5 and a Pursuit laser rangefinder for under $120 after rebate. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
And here amongst the athletic buildings, the academic buildings at Notre Dame Stadium. Just a great setting. The way college football and college sports should be. All part of the campus community. See a lot of places around the country where you're looking for vacancies. You look over to the student section. Not here in South Bend. Student section full. They're trying to support their fellow students. Get to 500 on the season. Sean Wilson brought down at the 15-yard line. Dexter Williams, who ran for a touchdown earlier, with a special teams tackle there. Go back to that last drive, Doug. That's the drive you were talking about throughout this game.
Offensive line took a little bit of control in this drive. McGlinchey out on the left tackle, stonewalling. Plenty of time to deliver a ball that took a while to uncover, and C.J. Sanders gets the catch. And then the offensive line, Quentin Nelson, McGlinchey on the left side, opening it up. That became the type of drive you would expect, a mix of running pass, and then the finish off runs, falling forward, going for it, the touchdown, Josh Adams. Now the wide receivers get involved in blocking.
First down, Jones throws behind his intended receiver, the tight end Daniel Helm, but incomplete. James Onwalu on the coverage. That's the guy who's the author of the good offensive line play, the good offensive linemen that have come through here the last few years.
Boy, he has done an amazing job. Harry Heastan, it's getting the younger guys experience so that when it's their turn up, they step in, and this offensive line doesn't miss a beat. Last year, it was a strength of this team.
Quick hitter from the 16 for Wilson. Sean Wilson with a first down and more. Through the Irish secondary to the 39-yard line. 23 on the gain before Tavon Coney brings him down.
Niles Morgan had a real shot. And again, a broken tackle. Now, Wilson's elusive. Gives him a little shoulder and slides off of the tackle. But again, missed tackles on the Notre Dame side of the ball and excellent running from an offensive standpoint.
Pass Tranquil, the safety, as well on that play. Drew Tranquil back in after missing the last series. And the 39, Jones hit as he throws. It's over the middle and complete to Quay Chambers. We have a flag down back by the hit. Let's see if there's going to be 15 tacked onto this one.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 90. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
And it's going to take it from the 47 deep into Notre Dame territory. Isaac Rochelle immediately comes out.
Rochelle wins at the line of scrimmage, hits the gap, gets through, a little bump, but he's up high, helmet to helmet, helmet to face mask. But he's up high on the quarterback, took an extra half a step and hits him. And it wasn't a real physical hit, but again, he hit him late and he hit him up high.
And Brian Kelly's frustrated. That's one of his senior captains. We talked about all the inexperience. He can't afford to have him make those types of plays. Sean Wilson's pulled down by Niles Morgan at the 34-yard line as we spin under 4 minutes left here in this third quarter. The Irish only victory here over Nevada. They lost to Texas in overtime, lost to Michigan State. And how about the Spartans today? Cleaned out by Wisconsin in East Lansing. Wilson the gain of just a yard. This Duke team won their opener against North Carolina Central. And after that, it followed it up with 2 losses to Wake Forest by 10, in Evanston by 11 to Northwestern last Saturday.
Third down and medium yardage. See if he dials up another blitz from Van Gorder here to try to get off the field. Notre Dame registered their first sack of the season in the last series with a blitz.
Jalay Duncan, the running back, could become important if they bring the pressure, try to help pick it up. 3rd and 4. Duncan does pick up the pressure, and Jones is throwing towards the end zone, and it is intercepted by Dante Vaughn. The freshman from Memphis gets his first career interception.
Just great body position by Vaughn. Stride for stride, squeezes his man to the sideline. There's nowhere to put this football to the outside, and he finds the ball. He turns and finds it at the last instant. He makes a nice play on the ball in the air.
He kept it on his hip, kept control along his body as those feet came down.
Control?
On his hip there, and 1 foot down and dragging it and holding on. Well done to get the ball back to Notre Dame. So Duke has turned it over for the first time today in this tie game. Whether suspension or injury or poor play, Notre Dame has cycled through multiple corners, but Brian Van Gorder gets number 35. Dante Vaughn, freshman, Whitehaven High School in Memphis, to come up with a big play. First down for Kaiser from the 20, and it is complete. Equanimous St. Brown gains 25, and big chunks of yardage coming for the Irish here in the middle of this third quarter.
Finds a soft spot in the zone defense out by the sideline, but be careful of number 31, Borders, playing the short flat, drifts deep. I'll tell you what, he sees that ball in the air. He closes in a hurry.
Kaiser had a look, see what's the best answer for this Duke defense, gets it out of his hands quickly, and that pass is secured. That's a good job up in the air to bring it down by St. Brown in front of Brian Fields.
Fields closes in a hurry as well. He's made a couple plays on the ball in the air. St. Brown has become the go-to receiver. When it's one-on-one matchups, he catches the ball extremely well in his hands. He has the long, lanky body.
Well, we know he's going to catch it in his hands because he's had a lot of practice doing that. It's kept here by Kaiser, who pumps, runs, has the first down at the Duke 43. Tanarshi Bear making the tackle, and Kelly with a word for Kaiser before he's back to the huddle. We mentioned St. Brown, the receiver. In conversations in the recruiting process, he was able, as being discussed with LSU, to visit with Odell Beckham Jr., and Odell told him that he caught 300 balls a day off a jugs machine. So Equinemius St. Brown and his two brothers, one is going to Stanford, another one is in high school, caught 303 balls a day. That ball is dropped by Adams, and it somehow gets back on it. It'll be a loss of 7 yards.
Basic football. Catch the ball, hand it off, secure the handoff. This has happened a couple of times today now on simple things that cannot happen offensively to put you out of down and distance.
You know, Doug, you just look like you're watching guys who are playing not to make mistakes, and that's pressure.
It is. You got to play loose and relaxed. You know, you still got to play smart at those times, but you got to take the blinders off, relax, see the whole field, just play football sometimes.
Whole bunch of pressure. Kaiser stands in, underthrown and nearly intercepted. The man who gets all the interceptions that come near him, Breon Borders, would have had a pick six if he could have turned upfield down the sideline.
That was too easy for him. Breon wants to jump over someone's back, climb the ladder, make an unbelievable. Just a little underthrown and behind, and Borders breaks. He's in the key to this is he was in a great position to begin with.
Man, you talk about a lucky
He's
break.
got great hands.
Yes. Doug, you talk about a lucky break for Notre Dame. That's the NCAA's active interception leader, tied for it with 12 picks in his career. And he was smelling a touchdown if he could have brought that one in. 3rd and 16. Irish need to get to the 33. All these exotic pressures coming up. Kaiser over the top and incomplete. Intended for Nick Wisher, the tight end. And Duke's pressure forced it out quick and will force the Irish to kick it away.
Deontay Singleton had a targeting hit last week, missed the first half of this game. Watch him come from deep safety in the middle of the field, and he's closing in a hurry, and he just pulls up and says, I'm not hitting anybody. I'm not going to take that shot. That was a dangerous throw. Dangerous throw there. Read his zone blitz, thought a receiver was wide open going up the seam, and there was a safety deep.
Good job by Newsome to pin Duke deep. And they'll start from the 14-yard line as Kaiser will try to figure out how to best get it sorted out for the next series, all tied at 28. And Doug, it is a reminder, and we talk about this all the time with college football. You're talking young guys and thrown into a pressure situation. When you're at Notre Dame, what does Brian Kelly say all the time? Win every game, college football playoff. That reality sets in, and how do you react if you're facing adversity as they are here this afternoon against Duke?
When you feel that pressure, that's when these tight things happen, and you've got to fight through that and make it feel, and I don't know how to do it for everybody. I knew how I did it, but make it feel like it's practice out there. You're flying around, you're having fun, and we heard Dave Cutcliffe talk about having fun while you're playing.
Right.
And that takes away the fear.
To the 14-yard line, this Duke offense has stagnated a bit. In the third, Jalay Duncan with the carry, just shy of the 20-yard line. We talked about this program and the struggles they've had. What a win here would mean for Duke if they're able to find a way to win the fourth quarter and take a victory back to Durham. That's what Cut's telling all those guys.
Dave said it'd be the biggest win in our program's history.
He's reminding his
guys. That's the end of the third quarter. Timeout.
With the score, Notre Dame 28, Duke 28. We're back to Notre Dame Stadium for the fourth after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC.
Dirty old furnace. Call Four Seasons.
Dirty furnace? Clean it up with a Four Seasons furnace tune-up. Lower utility bills, increase furnace lifespan, and guarantee a breakdown-free season for only $89.95.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons. Do you have too many bills but not enough money? Would you like one lower payment for all debt, little or no money down? I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Our Chapter 13 plans stop collections and creditors in one day for as low as $95 every 2 weeks. Get rid of bill collectors and high car payments. Get one lower payment today. Call or click now.
When you need to be debt-free, call 1-800-CALL-PFG. That's 1-800-CALL-PFG.
I like your dream.
Thanks. Isn't this bathroom incredible?
This bathroom is in a house on Realtor.com. Look.
What?
It has more homes for sale than any other site and updates constantly.
So Realtor.com can help me find my
dream bathroom. Yes.
Wow.
Dream home, find home, own home. Realtor.com.
CSN is your go-to on Chicago Bears game days. Join us an hour before kickoff for the best coverage in the city on Bears Pregame Live.
Get our take on our team from former Bears who have played the game.
And win or lose, we'll recap every play for you on Bears Postgame Live right after the game. Dominate! This is CSN Chicago. All Bears, all the time.
Starting tonight at 6:30 on CSN.
The Notre Dame football replay is presented by Team Notre Dame partners Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade.
David Cutcliffe's team in 2013 was the Coastal Champs of the ACC. Around that time, they started this run of getting true road wins, go to somebody else's campus, a Power 5 program, and get the job done. And they've done it 13 times up there with the big boys. Now, the asterisk for some, you'd point out that some of those wins were against the likes of teams having tough years at that point, at Wake Forest, at Syracuse, at Virginia. But it includes wins at North Carolina back in 2013, at Pittsburgh in double overtime. So there are some good wins along the way. This is a program that has rebuilt and has done it impressively. Quay Chambers on the sideline has a touchdown earlier, has a first down here. And Doug, that was almost like the reset button starting that fourth quarter. I watched that Duke sideline a lot while we were away. You could see their energy that this is what we dreamed of. We're at Notre Dame. It's the fourth quarter, and we're in it.
Tie ball game going in the fourth quarter. They'll take that any day of the week. And they've got an opportunity because they know how to move the football against this Notre Dame defense.
First down, Daniel Jones taking a shot downfield, and it's out of bounds. The hat comes in because the receiver, Anthony Nash, was out of bounds. Devin Studstill was over there in coverage. We saw it going to break with Cutcliffe encouraging his guys, and then the rest of the team. They were self-starters in this mode.
But it's a contrast to the two sidelines. Right now, the Notre Dame sideline is stagnant. They're standing there looking around, waiting for somebody to play or to make a play rather than going out and being the guy and creating the energy level.
Expectation and youth, the intersection of the two. Jalate Duncan, good job to make the first man miss. Duncan accelerates. Midfield and beyond for Duncan. They don't bring him down to the 41-yard line. Big gain of 31 for Jalate Duncan.
Big number 80, yards. Daniel Helm comes pulling around, coming left to right, and then bouncing off the pile goes Duncan and off to the right. It just being more physical up front right now.
Duke has run for 168 yards here today. No place to go that time for Duncan. You know, of course, we think of Duke like Notre Dame, great academic institution. Both are in the top 15 of the most recent U.S. News and World Report survey of best academic schools in the country. But a basketball school, Coach K, the gold standard in the sport, all the national championships, all the great players that have come through at the collegiate level, that Duke program. But football is such a tough build because of the numbers you need to build success. One of those is Sean Wilson. It comes within a yard of the first down. It'll be third down and short. And what David Cutcliffe's staff did, they figured out, let's find the smart guys, do a great job recruiting them, and get players like this who can make plays like that.
It was Gabe Brander, left tackle, coming down with a double team and up to the second level to make a nice block, and it was a legitimate crease there, and really the easiest run Duncan's had today.
A 3rd and 1 run will get the necessary yardage for the first down. As Sean Wilson, this is a nice combination of backs with Wilson and Duncan, 156 yards between them today.
Well, Wilson's a little bit of the slasher, make you miss, really elusive, catches the ball well down the field as well. And then Duncan gets in there and does a little smash mouth at you. And they're running some zone read right now, making good decisions at the quarterback position.
In just his 4th start, Daniel Jones doing that. Fake the handoff, throws middle incomplete, and buzzing down was Avery Sebastian to break up the pass intended for Quay Chambers.
Well, there was a little tight window, and Sebastian did do a great job of reading that, breaking hard on the ball. And this is being decisive. Seeing the quarterback's eyes, there was a tight window there, but Avery Sebastian decided that ball is going to be thrown. I'm breaking now, and he went all out, like we've seen Borders do all day on the other side.
Sebastian seeing time as Drew Tranquil has dealt with injury during the second half. It's been in and out of the lineup. 2nd and 10 for Jones. Behind and in Sebastian's hands if he would have been able to stop, but he was following Eric Schneider, who was the intended receiver. And a couple of incomplete passes sets up 3rd and 10.
This is just a misfire. Snyder beat him on the route inside, and the ball's behind. If he doesn't get a hand on it, Sebastian's intercepting that ball. That could have been a big play for Duke.
Again, Duke has not been a good field goal kicking team. From here, it's a 45-yarder. Might be 4-down territory for Cutcliffe. Third and 10. 7 Notre Dame defenders coming. The pass is complete, and a yard short of the first down with Chambers. What a decision here. If you were sure about the field goal kicker, you take it and take the lead.
Great job of picking up the blitz. You're coming defensively. Your thought is Duncan sticks his nose in there and makes a block. Your thought is we're going to blitz, come up and tackle, but Duke is going to go for it on 4th down.
They've been gaining yards on the zone read. Jalay Duncan's the back. 4th and 1. Duncan's got it. And for the second time, Notre Dame's come up with a 4th and 1 stop today.
Isaac Rochelle got his nose in there and penetrated a gap and just stuffed the whole play up.
Well, had a penalty earlier in this half, was brought over to the sideline, deservedly admonished by his coach, making up for it by making a play, along with Jerry Tillery up front for Brian Van Gorder's Notre Dame defense.
Shop like a pro at Bass Pro Shops with 2 big sales to gear up and save, like Redhead Men's Finley River shirts for under $18 and Lacrosse Alpha Light waterproof boots for under $80. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
He's carrying the team on his shoulders, but still dominating the college game. He's the top college football player. Watcher. He has Xfinity X1, so he can track all the scores and stats and easily switch between close games from the Pac-12, SEC, and Big Ten networks. Become a pro fan, only with Xfinity. Get ESPN Goal Line when you switch to an Xfinity X1 double play and save when you bundle. Call or go online today.
Our mountains challenge us. Push us back. Knock us down. Tell us it can't be done. But then, one day you reach the summit, and you realize the harder the climb, the better the reward. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
Shop like a pro at Bass Pro Shops with 2 big sales to gear up and save, like select Bass Pro ball caps for only $5 and a Pursuit laser rangefinder for under $120 after rebate. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
Josh Adams, the running back, as Notre Dame takes over at its own 19 after the 4th and 1 stop. And Adams Lowers the pads and gains 5 yards. Marquise Price, the sophomore Duke defensive end, with the tackle.
Well, Notre Dame's jumping back into their 2 tight end formation. Well, now they're back out of it. But that's usually a let's try to hammer the football for a little while formation.
Center judge comes in to give Duke time to adjust to the Irish sub. And the sub included the running back, Tarian Folston. Good job to avoid DeAndre Singleton's tackle and gain 4. It'll be 3rd and a yard. Need to remind you, if you're just joining us, the best defensive player for Duke, Devon Edwards, who's an elite-level kickoff return man, was injured in the first quarter. Left leg injury, looked like a knee. That's what was braced, as he couldn't put any weight on it, a non-contact injury. So they've been without their best kickoff return man, who's also their best safety, as they've tried to stop Notre Dame here this afternoon. Both backs in. That's Adams in motion for 3rd and 1. So Adams and Folston back there. Folston blocks. Adams gets the first down out to the 32-yard line.
Great pickup by Folston on a block there, but that's a mentality. Come out and run the ball 3 straight times, and we're going to get a first down, is the mentality of Notre Dame. Folston does a great job picking up a guy running in the gap there and creates the first down. And also, Josh Adams knows he just has to fall forward to make sure he gets that first down.
Kaiser had a good start, slowed down a little bit, 18 of 29, but he has thrown for 300 yards in this one. Adams up the middle for about 3. A.J. Wolf, the tackle. As we dive under 10 minutes here in regulation.
This has the feel that Kelly wanted to try to come out and establish that we're going to be more physical and just hammer this football down the field. 2nd and 7. This is a pivotal play. This is one where now he may get away from that.
Dexter Williams is sent out, so it's 5 wide for Kaiser. Gets it to C.J. Sanders. Has some space in the block. Sanders accelerates across midfield. Chased across the field by Ben Humphries, but it's a first down with C.J. Sanders and a gain of 27.
Boy, Durham Smythe out on the outside getting the block, and Torrey Hunter down the field getting the block. Get the ball out quick, and C.J. Sanders, I'll tell you what, Torrey Hunter did a great job staying on his block down the field, number 16. On borders of great athlete in space.
Irish closing in on 500 yards of total offense here. A couple of turnovers and a kickoff return by Duke. The reason it's a tie game. Kaiser decides to keep. Ben Humphries the tackle, but Deshaun Kaiser with a good first down run to the 31-yard line.
It's almost when the game gets to critical situations is when Kaiser decides to start really thinking about keeping the ball in these reads. Here he makes that decision at the mesh point.
Going with good tempo. Kaiser on the edge with a ton of room inside the 20. Brought down at the 14-yard line. But Notre Dame in the red zone and really imposing their will up front as this second half goes along.
It's amazing when the game gets on the line, Kaiser starts to turn it up and try to take some on his own shoulder, more on his own shoulders.
He gained 17 there. Dexter Williams getting more snaps in this game. Remains the running back. A little confusion there. Williams on the edge. A lot of white shirts for Duke. Gain is 2, Doug.
I think this is intentional. I think it's like a freeze option. Kind of the old freeze option. Little pivot, little freeze, get somebody to close down on the outside and then pitch it out wide and let Dexter go. Dexter Williams didn't have a lot of room to work.
You've seen that from Notre Dame this year?
Never.
Yeah,
no, that's brand new there. Oh, we got formation to the boundary. Trying to do something out here to the field.
And 2 receivers to that short side of the field. Kaiser's looking towards St. Brown on the wide side. He's got it for the touchdown. Notre Dame leads with Equanimeous St. Brown in the end zone.
What a placement for the ball over the outside shoulder. St. Brown has to do a 180 and spin over his left shoulder to find the ball. He goes in expecting on his inside shoulder. No, it's outside shoulder. I'll go get it. You know what? That even may have been intentional because I saw them do that in practice the other day. Throw it over the wrong shoulder and him go find it.
That's just the second pass of that drive. They ran it down the field and set that up with formation. And a couple of plays they had not shown to that point. Yoon adds the extra point, and Notre Dame has scored the last 14. They scored the only 14 points of this second half. Equanimous St. Brown, the emerging star of this Irish defense, in the end zone one more time. And Notre Dame back on top at home. Well, the mood has changed in this historic oval in the last 40 minutes or so. Irish were in a 7-point hole to Duke, but they've come back to tie it, now take the lead with that touchdown, 35-28. And Duke will start from their own 25 as Sean Wilson makes the prudent choice to take a knee. So we'll see if the redshirt freshman quarterback can take him down the field and Daniel Jones can rally the Dukies and tie it up.
That was formation to the boundary, which puts 3 receivers into the short side of the field, which makes the safety go to this side of the field, leaving a lot of space over here one-on-one. All kinds of space to work your route and room to put the football.
Great touch and brought in by St. Brown, who's over 100 yards, 116 yards, and a touchdown. And St. Brown, who only had 1 catch last year, had 2 touchdowns in the Texas game, 1 touchdown against Michigan State, and gets 1 here. T.J. Ramming. He's the guy who does the underneath work for Duke. He gains 7 before Tavon Coney brings him down with 7.5 remaining here in regulation.
He's elusive. If he gets in space, he's got the ability to take it the distance.
And criticism for this Irish defense: punt, interception, and turning it over on downs. The Duke scoring, or drives, I should say, for this second half. No scoring drives. But they gain a first down with Sean Wilson on the carry. Devin Studstill, the freshman safety from Florida, made the tackle.
Duke is not going to go away. They're pesky. They get the quick passing game. They've been able to run the ball effectively when necessary.
Inside of 7 minutes, it was kept by the quarterback, who finds Anthony Nash down the sideline. Nash is in bounds, and we're on the doorstep of a tie game. Devin Studstill missed the tackle. It's 64 yards for Nash, tight-roping the sideline, as Daniel Jones did a good job of deception.
Jones coming off the play fake, comes out off the zone read, and it is Julian Love crashing to try to make a play. Great job of reading the corner coming in. Dumps the ball over the top. Nash can run. He can flat out fly.
An extra point has been missed this season. All 3 field goals missed by A.J. Reed. So kicking hasn't been anything confident for Duke to tie the game. They do at 35. Stunning turn of events here in South Bend in less than a minute. We're back to tie.
4 Seasons, how can we help you?
It's the furnace! The old pile of scraps burning through my savings! Hurry!
Remain calm, we're on our way.
24-hour repair and same-day installation. 4 Seasons can replace your furnace for as little as $17.95. Furnace and AC combos from $36.95. And take advantage of 0% interest financing for 5 years.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons. I refuse to let myself be limited. I walk the walk of a man who isn't afraid to wear floral. I don't want to just look at the man in the mirror. I want to know who he is. It's me. I'm comfortable in my own skin, but a man can't walk in public in his skin alone. In the end, you can't waste any time thinking about the end. Wear what you want to wear. Just don't wear any doubts.
How did DirecTV build the first-of-its-kind channel dedicated to fantasy football live on Sunday? They put together a team of in-studio experts with insightful in-game analysis of Sunday's biggest plays as they happen. Plus the latest NFL.com stats, injury news, and storylines that affect your lineups. Stay connected to the source on your favorite device while your team is on the big screen. All in a Sunday's work. Only NFL Sunday Ticket Max gives you the DirecTV Fantasy Zone. Upgrade your Sundays this fall. Channel 704.
This is important news for women who were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and then suffered permanent hair loss. Some women administered the breast cancer chemotherapy drug Taxotere have suffered from permanent hair loss on scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy for breast cancer, call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
2-touchdown game for Nash. 10 touchdowns in the game, 5 each way. What a fourth start in the career of Jones. 272 yards, 3 touchdowns here in South Bend. Kickoff return, C.J. Sanders not going to get to the 15-yard line. Pulled down. Saxton, the safety, who's played a lot here today, was the first Duke special teamer there. There has been a ton of Notre Dame miscues again here today.
And they're unforced. It's a snap from center on a basic run play. You have a nice big completion down the field, but the defense stays after it and strips the ball out. A late hit on a quarterback. All things that are avoidable. All things that are avoidable. Ball on the ground on a basic handoff puts you at a down and distance, and nothing more frustrates Brian Kelly.
These are the small details. Consistency with urgency. Those were the watchwords of the week, the points of emphasis. His team jumped out to a 14-0 lead, now in a fight with 6:40 left and nowhere to go for Dexter Williams. Corbin McCarthy does the cleanup. Good penetration up front, starts it all.
A.J. Wolf penetrates, gets into the backfield, and disrupts the play, and then the rest of the troops come following. Great job of getting penetration across the face of McGovern.
Wolf, the son of an American shot putter, August Wolf, that's who A.J. is named after. 4th in the '84 LA Olympics, missed a bronze medal by 1.5 inches. But his son A.J. made quite a play there. 2nd and 13. Kaiser, nowhere to go. Tries to elude the rush, and he's brought down. Back inside the 3 by Marquise Price. First sack for the sophomore, played a lot as a true freshman last year.
There was just nothing down the field. His initial read is not there. Initially, protection is excellent. Standing in the pocket, looking down the field. Got to maybe come down to a back in this situation, but he wants a big play upfield. He holds on to the football, and eventually Price gets to him. Now you just got to be careful and not turn it over in your own end with 5 minutes to go.
Sounds like Cameron Indoor Stadium over that far corner here. Let's go Duke from the Duke fans that have come here to South Bend. 3rd and 20. They're going to lay back. They're going to bring pressure. Kaiser from his own end zone just launches it, and it's intercepted. Would have had a punt anyway, so not a huge impact, but DeAndre Singleton comes down with it, and with 5:11 left, Duke has the ball at the 45-yard line of the Irish with a chance to take the lead.
He really wants to take a shot down the field, and I believe it was Josh Adams running down the sideline, but there's a blitz coming from the right side. Good job feeling it, decent pickup, drifts to his left, and he's going to unload it deep. Thought he was putting it in a safe spot. He's drifting to his left to avoid rush, but there was nothing there down the field. Adams is going up the boundary. That's the ball he's trying to throw, and it just isn't going to happen. Throw that thing out of bounds. What are you doing?
He wants to know why he put it up for grabs. And the pressure came from the opposite side, and Brian Kelly's over there. A talk with Kaiser, who's been in the middle of a couple of these 3 turnovers, and now Jaleel Duncan is the back. Duke tries to take the lead. Duncan up the middle. Gets away from 1 tackle. He's brought down by the freshman Julian Love. Gain of 7 inside of 5 minutes when the next snap comes.
Well, that's impressive right there on 1st down to just run it right up the middle and pick up 7 yards.
Important moments for Kelly and the growth of his quarterback Kaiser. Meantime, the defense out there trying to find a way to stop this Duke offense. Duncan over 100 yards now is at 108 with that carry that sets up 3rd and 2. I know Peyton Manning would be watching, the guy who helped him grow so much in David Cutcliffe. Peyton's over in China, but David Cutcliffe got a text on the way over to the stadium today from Peyton Manning, wishing him all the best, knowing what a win here would mean for the building of this Duke program. 3rd and 2. Jones throws complete for the first down. His tight end, Eric Schneider, hanging on at the 30-yard line. 4:10 to go.
That is Duke's favorite route in crucial situations. On 3rd or 4th down, they will run what we call Y-stick. Just a little 6-yard out, big body guy. Use your body position to be open. And a perfect placement of the ball. We wasn't open by a lot. Short throw, put it in a good spot, convert for first down on the edge of field goal range.
And that Y is a letter designation for the tight end. You always hear X receiver, Z receiver. The Y is the tight end, and Schneider and Helm, 2 good ones that this team has.
He has one-on-one up top to the left.
From the 30 in a tie game, going that way. The big-bodied receiver Nash made a man miss. Almost got down the sideline again. Gain of 11 for the man who has 2 touchdowns today.
Been running this formation all day long, 3-by-1, isolated receiver one-on-one. Get the ball in his hands. Another missed tackle, barely tripped up.
Hey, Doug, for Duke, they need to think about touchdown here. Their field goal kicking's weak. They haven't made one. They've made all their extra points. They eschewed the opportunity to go for a field goal from 36 yards on the last 2 drives ago, I should say. Miles Morgan with the tackle as the carry from Jalate Duncan's going to take us inside of 3 minutes. A.J. Reed, the 3-star recruit, freshman. They had good kicking, too. Ross Martin was a terrific kicker, most prolific in Duke history. He graduated, turned it over to Reed. Missed an extra point after the 2nd touchdown against Northwestern. Has missed from 30 and 34 and 43 yards this year. 2nd and 7 with Duncan. Got out of a tackle. Duncan still going. Got the first down to the 6-yard line. And got pulled down. And he is banged up.
He just
that left leg.
Keeps the legs pumping. In traffic, everyone's on their block. No one's really free, but hands are grabbing and pulling, and he just keeps trying to step out of it. This was a formation and a play, as Duncan comes up limping, that normally earlier in the game, Duke would have checked to throw a fade route on the one-on-one matchup on the outside. But in this situation, they're trusting the power running game to stay in position for a field goal and maybe eat up this clock.
He was fighting for that extra yard. Avery Sebastian was holding on for dear life. Didn't want to let him get out of there for the touchdown. And Jalade Duncan, who has 120 yards, is injured. 1st and goal, Duke, when we come back. Jalade Duncan with 120 rushing yards up. He was trying to run on the sideline there a little bit. They continue to look at his foot after he was hurt on that last play. Another play where the Notre Dame defense gave up more yardage. Duke closing in on 500 yards. Yet another opponent pushing 500 against this defense. 290 in the air. 35-point score, 28 against this defense. One was a kickoff return for touchdown. But Notre Dame defense has to come up with a stand here. Duke has it 1st and goal at the 6. The Irish have 2 timeouts with 2:40 left. So if you're thinking
after 2nd down, start using it.
Give yourself time to get the ball back. They had to use one earlier when they had 12 men on the field on defense. Duncan is out. Sean Wilson is the back. And Daniel Jones, the quarterback, gives it to him, running inside to the 3-yard line. Jalen Elliott, the freshman safety, comes in to make the stop, and Brian Kelly will take the timeout here.
Timeout. Notre Dame, 2nd charge of the half. Please reset the game clock to 2:19. 2:19 on the game clock.
2:19 to go. If you're just joining us, 3 Irish turnovers. One gave Duke a short field that they punched in for a score. Deshaun Kaiser has thrown for 363, run for 60, has 3 total TDs, but has not had his sharpest game. Brian Kelly's been in conversation with him throughout. In his 4th start, the redshirt freshman Daniel Jones, 290 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception. And a young man who David Cutcliffe said he's got all those tools. A young man who grew 4 inches as a junior in high school has really been a late developer because he was a walk-on, Doug, originally Ivy League bound to Princeton. His his high school coach said, if fundamentals are so good, I'm going to call David Cutcliffe, who I know loves quarterbacks, and let him take a look at this guy. And they said, when we have a scholarship ready, it's yours. Can you come walk on? He did. As soon as that scholarship came available, when a player had to leave the roster, it became Jones's, and that's a pretty good addition to the roster.
I root for guys like this because I was in a similar situation where I was kind of an Ivy League guy. He didn't have a scholarship. I root for the guy that has to earn his way through. He had a wrist injury from basketball in high school. He winds up a late bloomer and got an opportunity, and he has the tools.
He's got the moxie, too. He's shown it to this point.
If you're going to throw the ball at all, it's here on second down play action, if you want to throw the ball.
Duncan back in at running back for Duke. He's got it. Duncan inside. The Irish defense would not open the door. It'll be 3rd and goal. Brian Kelly takes his final time out here with 2:16 to go.
Well, now if you were to throw the ball on 3rd down, it takes a chance of stopping the clock.
Timeout, Notre Dame. 3rd and final timeout. 60-second timeout.
So my anticipation would be to run the ball again a 3rd time and rely on a field goal or punch it in on the run. And then Notre Dame will have minute and 40 to take a shot at going back down the length of the field.
The Duke will run it all the way down after 3rd down. If they do, in fact, get stopped before the goal line, they are right at the 3, so that's where the extra points are snapped from. They're right in the middle of the field. The extra points have not been a problem when we discuss the field goal issues Duke has had all year. This becomes an extra point size field goal if they go for it, but obviously they want to get that touchdown and make the Irish come back to have to score a TD.
Well, that's why I always like going that play action to go for the touchdown on that 1st or 2nd down when it's a surprise, because now on 3rd down it's tough to punch it in from outside the 2. And they're anticipating defensively, maybe a bootleg, maybe the zone read where the quarterback may be an option. 1st and 2nd down, hammering the football is tough, and the play action usually works there. So if you're playing for the field goal, you're taking that risk that Notre Dame may go the length of the field.
So much conversation and reinforcement. Pierre Moussa, our director, got a great shot at Corbin McCarthy, the senior safety for Duke, who was talking to the kicker. You know, usually they say kickers leave him alone, go talk to him. He was talking to the freshman A.J. Reed. These are smart young men building confidence. David Cutcliffe's team trying to get in the end zone. 3rd and goal from the 3 in a tie game. It is kept by Jones at the 1, spinning, grinding. He's stopped short of the goal line. His forward progress is at the 1-yard line. They can let the clock run down here to go kick the short field goal. They have failed twice on 4th and 1.
It was Tavon Coney who made a nice stick. I mean, there was a crease, and it appeared like he may be getting in the end zone, and Coney stoned him at the 1.
Again, that timeout that Notre Dame had to use when they had 12 men on the field allows David Cutcliffe to take 40 extra seconds off the clock here. He'll take a timeout at 1:28 when the play clock gets down to 1. And you would assume go for the field goal to take the lead.
Absolutely. It's only an extra point.
Timeout, Duke. First charge to the 2nd half. 30-second timeout.
And when teams warm up, certainly college teams, you see multiple field goal kickers out there. But we saw 4 different players taking field goals earlier in the warm-ups today, and everybody is going over for an encouraging word with A.J. Reed. They're not letting him sit by himself. The Duke players are letting him know that they've got his back in support.
From the Notre Dame side of the ball, Jerron Jones has a blocked extra point against Texas, and he also had a couple of blocks before last year.
4 career block kicks for the 6'5" graduate student from Rochester, New York. So he'll be the one trying to get the up-the-middle push.
I love the chess match right now going through Kaiser's head on the sideline and what he's going to try to come back with.
It's a team effort. It's Thomas Hennessy, the snapper. Danny Sturt, who's also a kicker, is the holder. The freshman from Prattville, Alabama, A.J. Reed, for his first career field goal to give Duke the lead at Notre Dame. He got it, and the Blue Devils lead by 3.
1:24, no timeouts. Clock stops on first downs in college football. Plenty of time to get in field goal range.
If this holds up, A.J. Reed will have a story to tell forever of the first field goal he made in college.
First field goal he made in college. That's stepping up and just striking the ball. Go through your fundamentals. You can't tell me he wasn't nervous about that kick.
After missing 3 field goals, all relatively short in distance.
You say crazy, I say crafted. You say savage, I say practiced. Crazy, crafted, savage, practiced. Let's run that whole thing back. You say unbelievable, I say achievable. You say incredible, I say inevitable. Unbelievable, achievable, incredible, inevitable. Let's run that whole thing back. Carbs to compete, electrolytes to replenish.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
The 2016 Nissan Rogue. An IIHS top safety pick with intuitive all-wheel drive. Take on any road. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months or get a low $189 per month lease on Rogue. Get to Nissan, proud partner of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Bud Light Party here to discuss equal pay.
Women don't get paid as much as men, and that is wrong.
And we have to pay more for the same stuff.
What?
Yeah, cars.
What?
Dry cleaning.
What?
Shampoo.
What? You pay more but get paid less? That is double wrong. I'm calling everyone I know, and I'm telling them about this. This has got to stop.
Bud Light proudly supports equal pay. That's why Bud Light costs the same no matter if you're a dude or a lady.
Yeah, Mom, you have to pay more for a car than Dad. No one treats my mom like this.
Here is the kickoff. What will be the field position? Great hang time on this kick, too. Best of the day. Sanders, not much room, and he made a couple of men miss. Gets out to the 25-yard line. So when David Cutcliffe got here, Catherine Tappan spoke to him and asked him what it would mean for his team to get this win in this place.
Well, this is the biggest and oldest stage in college football history. So what an opportunity. Now, they don't come easy here. A great football team, a lot of talent, but this would be probably the best win we have had yet as a program, no question.
Well, they're a minute 19 away from it. Notre Dame is 74 yards away from a game-winning touchdown or a Justin Yoon field goal to tie this one.
Throw the ball past the first down markers, near the sideline, and away from number 31.
31, Breon Borders is the best defender for Duke. Can Deshaun Kaiser pull it off? Pressure on first down. Kaiser fires wide side. It's complete. Held on to as Torrey Hunter Jr. is taken out of bounds by Borders.
Boy, he throws a wide side out in front of Borders. Nice delivery. That was blitz, straight man coverage. Borders was playing off. Very nice start to a drive.
Gain of 11. Yoon's kicked a 39-yarder this year. His longest career kick is a 52-yarder. Minimal win to impact a field goal attempt to tie. If we get down near the 35 for Yoon.
Pressure again by Duke.
Kaiser rolled away from it. He throws. It is incomplete. Tried to get it to Hunter with Borders following him on that wide side.
Great job by Kaiser. He felt the blitz coming from the left. Checked to a little sprint out to the right. He misfired on the throw. But incompletions are not bad in a 2-minute drive. But very little time off the clock. 3 or 4 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever. Quick throw, no big deal. But your completions have to get out of bounds or past the first down marker.
Irish trying to avoid a 1-3 start when they go on the road the next 2 weeks. St. Brown in short motion. Kaiser surveys, throws it up over St. Brown and incomplete. Trying to put touch on it because he saw the safety sitting back there. Fields was the corner in coverage.
A great feel by Deshaun Kaiser. Buying time, waiting, feeling it. And St. Brown finally uncovers out the back door. And I think he mistimed his jump. He could have run through this ball potentially. And then also, Kaiser stepped up through the pocket. He might have had a lane to take off and run.
Both teams 5 touchdowns. Both teams over 500 yards.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has. This is the 73rd play for Notre Dame. Duke's run 73. A field goal difference here. 3rd and 10. Here comes the pressure. Kaiser flushed, escapes, fires, caught, but tackled short of the first down is Adams. The clock will continue to run inside a minute. Must make on 4th down. Ball's at the 44. They need to get to the 48. Everybody lined up. Notre Dame's got to have it here or Duke will win. Kaiser throws. Incomplete. Incomplete. And the Duke Blue Devils, a 3-touchdown underdog, will come into South Bend and stun the Irish. It's a lot of pieces to put back together for this Notre Dame team. And a lot of joy heading back to Durham, North Carolina. They put a whole bunch of money into the facility, and David Cutcliffe, that staff, like I said, has followed him a couple of different places. He brought the whole band back together, and Daniel Jones going to want to get that ball from the official and keep it. And he'll go someplace on that beautiful campus in Durham.
Just amazing job of making plays, big plays, scheming, and then hanging in there.
By taking a knee, Duke just dumped under 500 yards to 498. They forced 3 turnovers. They committed 1 penalty. They did everything they had to do. And Brian Kelly's education and conversation with Deshaun Kaiser continues as now he'll seek out David Cutcliffe. The Duke Blue Devils, 38. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 35.
Good job, David.
And for this Notre Dame team, a season of hope and great promise and terrific offensive talent. Now they are 1-3 and heading down the road for a couple of games. One a neutral site game in New Jersey against Syracuse, and then to North Carolina State.
The Notre Dame football replay is brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade, and is also brought to you by Bud Light, Bank of America, Bass Pro Shops, Canon, Xfinity, Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Coors Light, Nissan, and Sirius XM satellite radio.
You've tried bungee cords, cinder blocks, chains, and even messy sandbags, but nothing seems to work. Until now. Secure your cargo with Cargo Wrap. No matter how awkward your load, Cargo Wrap will hold it in place. For gas cans, propane tanks, even plants. Manufactured in America, in Atkinson, Illinois. Available in consumer and heavy duty. Pick up Cargo Wrap today at local retailers or online at cargowrap.com. Get it now.
I really like what you're doing with this dream. I dream about finding this closet every night.
Try Realtor.com. It has more homes for sale than any other site.
I could find a closet like this.
Yeah, girlfriend. Dream home, find home, own home. Realtor.com.
It's the fabric that brings an entire nation together. It says to the world, we will never lose faith. We believe in this team. Her generation, his generation, the next generation. Maybe this October, if we fly it high enough and loud enough and proud enough, well, you get the idea.
Cubs fans, unable to watch every second of your favorite team? Don't worry. CSN has you covered with In-Game Live. Get real-time game updates, including hit trackers, box scores, and pitch-by-pitch results on CSNChicago.com. Presented by State Farm.
It's been said, nothing you do for children is ever wasted. Since 1911, the Infant Welfare Society of Chicago has provided pediatric, prenatal, dental, and mental health services for Chicago's disadvantaged children and women. But less than 1% of all the patients this not-for-profit organization treats are covered by private insurance. To make a contribution, please visit us on the web or donate your gently used clothing or small household items at our resale shop. The Infant Welfare Society of Chicago, providing quality health care for Chicago's less fortunate children and women.
Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the antibiotic prescription drugs Levaquin or Avalox?
Medical studies show an increased risk of these injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used Levaquin or Avalox and suffered from these injuries,
act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk.
Call 1-800-485-9116. That's 1-800-485-9116.
If your loved one received an IVC filter to prevent blood clots and later experienced complications, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters can move or fracture, causing serious injuries such as heart damage, lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. Don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-620-3915. Again, that's 1-800-620-3915.
Hi, I'm John Lester, and you're watching Home for Cubs Baseball, CSN Chicago, presented by State Farm.
Doesn't even bother moving. That one is gone out of the ballpark.
Postseason, whether or not I'm on the roster or not, I'm still going to enjoy it.
After another rough outing, Jason Hamill may be left out in the cold come playoff time. Hello and welcome to Sportsnet Central, presented by CLR. I'm Layla Rahimi. We'll hear why Joe Madden thinks a playoff rematch with the Cardinals would be a tough draw. The banged-up Bears prepare for a primetime showdown with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
It's hard to imagine this game not coming down to these two quarterbacks.
And the Irish hit rock bottom after another disappointing loss. Don't blink. It's Sportsnet Central right now.
To Sportsnet Central, presented by CLR.
With just days left in the regular season and a crowded playoff roster in the balance, it couldn't have been the start Jason Hamill wanted against the Cardinals. With a win, the Cubs set the franchise record for home wins with 57. Jason Hamill retired the first two batters of the game on 7 pitches, then throws one in the dirt. Matt Adams is hit as well. That loads the bases. Yadier Molina comes up. He rips one down the third baseline. That would score a couple, so it's 2-0 St. Louis. Next would be Randall Grichuk. He reaches out and puts one into left. That's going to score 2 more. Hamill gives up 4 in the first inning with 2 outs. Redbirds rookie Alex Reyes was getting the start. And then in the bottom of the first with 2 men on, the Cubs get back in it. Ben Zobrist deposits one into the right field corner. Both runners are going to score because it is a triple. The deficit is cut in half, and it is 4-2. Second inning, Hamill gives up more. Again with 2 outs, Stephen Piscotty hammers this 450 feet onto Waveland. 5-2 Cardinals. And some ball hawk out there has a good arm. He chucks that one back into the ballpark from the street. Wow. Dexter Fowler, a big afternoon, just a home run shy of the cycle. Bottom of the second, runners at the corners. Fowler's double scores Jorge Soler, and it is a 2-run game. Later in the inning, after Reyes retires Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo goes down swinging, stranding 2 batters, and slams his helmet in frustration. To the third inning now, Jason Hamill gives up 2 hits, and that would bring up Joe Madden. So Hamill's day is done. Mike Montgomery comes in, and Grichuk takes an 0-2 pitch to left center. That brings in the 6th run, charged to Hamill in his 2 1/3 innings as the Cardinals clobber the Cubs 10-4. And it has been a month to forget for Hamill while the rest of the Cubs rotation has flourished. John Lester, Kyle Hendricks, and Jake Arrieta all have earned run averages under 3. John Lackey not far behind, but Hamill's ERA of nearly 9 has probably pushed him off of the playoff roster, and it's something not lost on the veteran right-hander.
I answered that one before. Honestly, I would love to be a part of it, as the rest of the guys on the team would love to. I know there's only a certain amount of spots, so if I'm handed the ball, I'll be ready. That's the way I'm going to view it. Obviously, you want to be part of something special like that, but I think everybody here has still already been part of something special. So to get to this point, we're all very proud. We still got 8 regular season ball games left to go out and build some momentum, and it's postseason. Whether or not I'm on the roster or not, I'm still going to enjoy it.
I'm not worried about a good or bad outing right now. I'm not. I pretty much, what the guy is. If a guy's got his stuff going on, or if he doesn't. Does he have a little injury that nobody's aware of, or that he's not, bringing forth, all that kind of stuff? What's going on within? How's his breathing? I mean, is he too quick lately? Is he under control? All those different things to consider, but the greater body of work matters.
So we have a present for you. Starting tonight through October 6th, we will bring you 12 straight days of special Cubs featured stories and a look back at this 2016 season. That is 12 days of Cubs starting tonight, presented by State Farm, right here on your home for Cubs baseball, Comcast Sportsnet. Elsewhere, the Mets need to win over the Phillies, or they would fall into a tie with St. Louis in the loss column. Sean Gilmartin starting for Noah Syndergaard, and it wasn't good. Michael Franco. That is a 3-run home run, a part of a 5-run Phillies first inning. Fighting Phillies get 4 more in the 4th. Darren Ruff, a 3-run jack. Phils led 10-0. They'd hold on to win 10-8. The Mets now a half game up on the Cardinals in the National League wild card race.
In the bottom of the 9th. With the 7th pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Kevin White.
If I could stress one word for this player, he's competitive.
Big city, kind of like a lights, camera, action.
He reminds me a little bit of Michael Irvin.
I love it here. I love it. I love the fans. I love everything about it.
Well, Dave Wannstedt would know. He won a Super Bowl ring as the Cowboys' defensive coordinator when Michael Irvin was in the prime of his Hall of Fame career in Dallas. Comparisons like that had Bears fans excited when Kevin White was selected 7th overall in the 2015 NFL Draft. Irvin did catch a touchdown in his first career NFL game, but he did not turn into the playmaker overnight. White has 7 receptions for 70 yards in his first 2 games after missing last season because of a shin injury. And former Bears quarterback Jim Miller explains how the Bears can do a better job of getting their young White out the ball this Sunday against Irvin's former team on Sunday Night Football.
Well, what can the Bears do to get Kevin White more involved in the Bears offense? Let's break down a play against the Philadelphia Eagles. What this is a double dig route. Doesn't have to think about the coverage. If it's man or zone, he's still running a 16-yard in cut. That's his assignment. Nothing will change. Just need to run it and run fast. So for Kevin White, gets the release off the corner, breaks in his dig route, ends up being a zone coverage. Now he can catch it and get some yards after the catch for Kevin White. So I think the problem is when he starts to see different coverages, he slows down a little bit in terms of the depth of his routes. But if you're calling double dig or a play like a Hank call, which is a curl route, I think Kevin White will play faster and the Bears will have more opportunity to get him some throws.
We will hear more from Jim, Lance Briggs, and Alex Brown later tonight. Chris Godin hosts Bears Pregame Live at 6:30 before the Sunday night kickoff on NBC. Remember to switch it over here right after the game for Bears Postgame Live.
He's coaching his butt off. His staff is working hard. We're trying to find the best solutions to what we have on our side of the ball, and we're going to keep working hard to address them and get our defense to where it needs to be.
That was Brian Kelly earlier this week talking about his defensive coordinator, Brian Van Gorder, after his team gave up over 500 yards of total offense to Michigan State last week. Surely the Irish would look better against Duke, who was 58th in the NCAA in total yards, right? Right? Yeah, so it was a game full of highs and lows for Deshaun Kaiser. First quarter, 7-0 Irish. He drops back and goes deep for Kevin Stefferson. That is a touchdown, a 44-yard strike, putting up Notre Dame 14-0. But Duke would tie the game. Then in the second quarter, Kaiser fumbles the snap, loses the football. It would prove to be a costly turnover because on the first play of Duke's drive, Daniel Jones connects with Wayne Chambers, who is wide open. That's a touchdown, and Duke leads 21-14. Fourth quarter now, game tied at 28. Kaiser has Notre Dame on the doorstep. He pump fakes and fires to Equanimous St. Brown. That is a 12-yard score. 35-28 Irish lead, but it was short-lived.
Inside of 7 minutes, it was kept by the quarterback, who finds Anthony Nash down the sideline. Nash is in bounds, and we're on the doorstep of a tie game.
The defense gives up a huge play, and cornerback Julian Love bites on a run. Safety Devin Studstill gets beat to the sideline by Anthony Nash, and a 64-yard touchdown ensues, tying the game at 35. 5 minutes left, Irish deep in their own territory. Kaiser under pressure, throws, and gets picked off by Dylan Singleton. Brian Kelly wants to know, what are you doing? So Duke drives down to the goal line, and A.J. Reed hits on a 19-yard field goal to take a 38-35 lead. One last chance for the Irish on fourth down and less than a minute to go. Kaiser's pass incomplete. The game is over. Duke wins 38-35. Notre Dame now with 3 losses on the season.
There's no passion for it. It looks like it's hard to play, like we're pulling teeth. You're playing football for Notre Dame. Looks like it's work. Last I checked, they were getting a scholarship to play this game. There's no fun. There's no enjoyment. There's no energy. Every position, all 22 of them, will be evaluated, each and every position. There is no position that is untouchable on this football team. So if you want to play for me moving forward, you better, I don't care what your resume says. I don't care if you were a 5-star, if you had 100 tackles or 80 receptions or 30 touchdown passes. You better have some damn fire and energy in you. We lack it. We lack it severely.
Wow. Well, plenty more still to come on Sportsnet Central. Week 4 saw a couple of huge Big Ten matchups. Could Pat's Cats upset number 20 Nebraska and Evanston? Highlights are next, plus with some Blackhawks stars in action during the World Cup of Hockey. The fans still got it up close.